I need that sports encyclopedia. Where you at, Steve Kim? Got Trent in the cut.
What are you?
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's a master motivator.
I'm a master motivator. I ain't no regular ass motivator. I'm a fucking master.
Coaches tried to make practice so hard that the game was less intrusive. Like they coached you that way. Like people think, well, they were just yelling. No, they were trying to put you under stress and put you in under duress so that when you got in the game, you could mentally handle adversity.
If you go through JUCO and you make it out of JUCO, you can make it anywhere.
I respect the hell out of you to see that you're doing what you're doing and still doing what you're doing for real, the way you do it, man. From day one, you had the same enthusiasm. You keep the same enthusiasm, and it's fucking contagious.
In my opinion, I think Shedeur Sanders is the best deep ball in college football. I don't think
Can you just say something nice about Shedeur Sanders?
I love talking ball. It's nice to connect with guys that are like-minded and just are real and genuine.
And I'll proudly stand up next to you all. God bless America.
You said belt to ass, T-Red. You got the belt around you.
What up? We are in the building. It is Talk That Talk Tuesday. So talk, and I will talk back. We got a loaded lineup brought to you by BetUS. So head on over to BetUS today and tell them I sent you. Let me get back in here. We got two legends on today, along with our own legend, Steve Kim. But Ed McCaffrey, legendary Denver Bronco, plus the father of Christian McCaffrey, as you all know, and Hall of Fame legendary Chicago Bear D lineman Dan Hampton joins us, along with Steve Kim. So another loaded day. Pound that like, subscribe, become a member if you're not one. This show is powered by BetUS TV. Nico officially is a UCLA Bruin, along with his brother Madden, which I knew was the holdup the whole time. That was the issue. I know Madden had left, came back, went to Arkansas, whatever else is going on. And basically, I think we witnessed the first NIL trade swap in college football history. What is going on, Houston? What is going on? What is happening in college football? This kid just signed with UCLA in January for $1 million to play quarterback in Westwood. And I've been told he looks very, very good. He is now headed to Tennessee, where Nico just came from. Wild times in college football. But I think this was the first NIL trade swap, and we haven't seen the end of it. And this is what the future going forward will look like. Alex Ovechkin nets the first playoff overtime goal, bails out Capitals, and becomes the oldest player at 39 to score an overtime thriller, becoming the all-time leader in regular season overtime goals with 27 in just 1,491 games. Of course, they're part of the career total of 897 goals that surpass Wayne Gretzky. So shout out to Ovechkin. Shout out to my LA Kings. Getting it done. Game 1, up 1-0 on the Oilers. The Clippers got over the hump and won a road playoff game. And now we'll need to win one in LA to really make me a somewhat believer, which I never will be. But having said that, Kawhi Leonard looked as close to Kobe Bryant as one can look. And it's a shame that we only get to see him play 30 games a year. The Lakers in a must-win tonight at home. And LeBron's legacy weighs heavy on this series with Luka now on the team. We shall see. And as we inch closer to the NFL draft, who will be the biggest winners and the biggest losers? Can't wait to see that in just 2 days. Who makes a splash trade in the top 10 and who drafts these quarterbacks after Cam Ward? I think this will be one of the most interesting drafts ever, but what do I know? What I do know is the Far East Sider 317, LeBron hairline having, Lamar Jackson loving, AR5 defending, and Caitlin Clark jocking. One and only Big Smitty is here.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all, man? You heard what JB just said, man. Nap Town's in the building. 317 Far East Side, baby. Talk that talk Tuesday. And, hey, I couldn't be more excited for this show, man. We got my main man, Bailey, in the back. JB right here drinking his yak and his coffee. And it wouldn't be us without the fans. Like Il Bill, Combray, Boston Richie, Big Jim Slade, Levi L, Marcus Russo, Matthew Byer, King David Cartel, Jeff Gilbert, and TJ Too Nasty. We got to load the show.
Cartel?
Yeah.
Can you say that on there?
Cartel, yeah, for sure. One of our old guests does a whole podcast based upon like mobs and stuff like that.
But they're not Cartel, though. Name not Cartel, though.
But he talk about that type of stuff, and he gets all types of followers and subscribers and stuff. He don't get flagged or nothing.
We got flagged yesterday.
For what?
I don't know. Something I did. Something I did. I do something all the time. I don't do nothing, but
you got ADHD, homie.
I got a fall guy. I got a fall guy now, though.
Who's your fall guy?
Bailey.
Yeah, that's probably the safest bet. I do the same thing. Like if I do
producer.
Who?
He producer, homie.
Yeah, I know. It got to be on him. Anything go wrong, it has to be on the producer.
Yeah, he put the shit on. He put it on the screen. I didn't.
Topics, everything.
I think it was about Fat Keith.
Oh, it definitely was.
Because it was about him looking like Blackman.
Because you were bullying him. So
they said Blackman couldn't fit in the back of the police car, homie. He was so big they had to pull up and get a paddy wagon for him. No, that's real shit. I'm not lying. I'm like,
really?
Damn. So we haven't seen his body. We only seen his face. I guess he's really, really big, homie.
I mean, it makes sense. He was already 6'4", 6'5" receiver, ex-receiver type. So, those guys start to eat bad and drink and stop working out. They can put on a lot of weight, So I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, Twitter ain't working for me. I can't retweet the show or nothing again. I don't know what's happening with that.
And Elon sold it to himself, so who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said the show is buffering. I don't know if you saw that on the comments.
Yeah, buffering like crazy. That's what Ryan Kaminsky said.
Like crazy.
It was like crazy. Like it's the worst buffering ever. It looks cool on my end. Everybody else said it looked cool. So we cool. Let's keep this thing rolling, homie. We ain't about to be. You know what I mean?
I really go slow. I want to go slow, kind of quiet. Just stay quiet, monotone.
Quiet and boring. No views.
See what the views look like when we just talk regular like this, homie.
Let's test it out. Shoot, I ain't trying to get kicked out of my apartment anyway, so that's cool. That's right up my alley.
Oh yeah.
So how was your day? How was your day yesterday?
That was good, man. I got a couple little hoes came through.
Really?
Yeah, cooked some steak.
Like some steak, or was like some Philly cheesesteak?
Nah, like a steak.
Oh, like steak.
Like
okay.
36-ounce filet mignon.
Say it again.
Filet mignon.
All right.
By the way, 36-ounce filet mignon would cost like $2,000.
I mean, you got it. I mean, that's right up your alley. That's something you would do, though. That's something you honestly would do.
Let's dive into it. Let's pick up the energy, man. I was just fucking around with everybody. I'm ready to go. It's draft week. The NBA's tonight. The Lakers, I'm about to win some money on them on BetUS. Head on over there today. Plus, we're going to have a full draft party Thursday night right after the show that morning. Then some time will go by. People will go to work, have lunch, get off work, have dinner, and then boom, pop in here and watch me sip some yak, smoke a stick, and do an NFL live draft watch party. So, brought to you by BetUS. Quote of the day, Smitty. Speaking of you got it. You are rich when you are content and happy with what you have.
Ooh-wee. That's a good quote.
I don't think people really understand what I'm really saying in that quote right there, Smitty.
Yeah.
I think you can, because you go from micro to macro back into like the middle, and then you're back to micro, but then you're back macro. So sometimes you get it real easy and quick. I think you got this one.
Always macro, homie.
Yeah. You are rich when you are content. So having said that, first of all, when are you content? When you're happy with what you have. That means you made it and you're content with what you have and you're rich.
Rich is a mindset, homie. And right now, I am not rich because I'm not happy with what I got and I'm not content. That don't mean I'm not.
I can tell you.
That don't mean I don't appreciate what I have and I'm not thankful to God and the hard work I put in, to get to where I'm at. I understand I'm in a position that a lot of people will want to be in, but I got bigger goals for myself. So no, I'm not rich mentally yet, but I'm on the pathway to being there. I like that, JB. Top 75, homie.
I just want to be rich, just money. I don't give a fuck about my mind, mental. Yeah. I just want actual money.
I mean, you're almost 60, so at this point, your mind's all screwed up. So I get it.
Yeah, and I just need money. I don't need no mental fucking morale boost. Yeah. I need fucking real coin.
I mean, you probably could use that, but like I understand your age is what it is. Yeah. Like old people, y'all stuck in your ways. You're old as hell, so I get it.
I'm not old at all yet.
Old as hell,
Contrary to belief, brought to you by BetUS TV. Tell them we sent you, Coach AB promo code. I don't believe in luck. I believe in myself. Contrary to belief. That's right there to your rich. That's to your rich shit right there. I don't believe in luck, homie. You wish in one hand, shit in the other one. See what fills up first. I believe in my motherfucking self.
That's top 25, homie.
Really? That quick and easy? No energy? No.
It's simple and straight. Sometimes you be trying to do too much. That's simple. That's powerful. That's smart. Like just keep it what it is, homie. You try to confuse the fans. We got a very low IQ fan base, homie. Like keep it simple. Keep it straightforward, homie. Like, that's what it is. I don't believe in luck. I believe in myself. Period. We're done. We move on. That's simple. We
got a very low-key what?
Low IQ fan base overall. Like, we don't really have like a real – I've learned that over the last couple of years, Like we can say anything, they'll believe it. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've said things playing around and just set back and see how they reacted, and it's crazy how, like, low the IQ is. So, overall, not everybody, but it's overall.
Kanye said he sucked his cousin's dick for 8 years.
That's unfortunate.
Any word take on that?
I mean, I guess my word is some things you probably should keep to yourself or keep in therapy, keep to your family. Only the world need to know that.
Vincent Conrad said, whoa, low IQ fan base. The fuck? That's what Vincent Conrad said to you, brother. He said, brother. That's you.
Well, Vincent would have been one of the guys that falls in the category of having a high IQ. And I just said, Vincent, if you're listening clearly, which I'm sure you are, probably went to get some coffee or something. I said, not everybody. I said, just the overall like average, because we get a lot of fans. So let's say we get, let's call it 4,000 total fans per day. I just call it that. Twitter, YouTube, everything. I would say about 2,800 has low IQ. So, majority.
They say that you're following though.
Nah, I don't have that. I really have supporters on this show. I mean, overall, so I don't have enough to even call it my following. I can count on two hands how many people I got in here who support me. So it's
you got a lot of brothers.
Yeah, he brought in a lot of like weirdos. I've helped the show become smarter and get a better, more balanced mindset of a fan base. When I first joined, y'all, oh my God, it was crazy in here. It was insane. I had to clear this thing out. And I really did that, so we kind of reset the show. A lot of old folks was being out of there no more.
Clear it out with what?
With just realness and like regular people. Not people that necessarily agree with me with everything, but just regular human beings with a regular mindset. You had a lot of the racists in here, if I'm being honest. Super racist. When I first joined, it was super racist. So I can imagine the type of conversations I was having before I joined. When it was you in the Coke bottle. Because I'm like, why are they on this show? Why are they supporting him so heavily? It might be something he's saying for them to support this. So when I joined, I had to clear all that out. And now, now we're moving in a good direction. So shout out to the homie TJ Too Nasty. He's one of my day ones, and he's one of the guys who does not have a low IQ. John C has a low IQ. John C.
Yeah, it's still super racist in the chat, so you haven't really done anything. You made it work.
It's more like a laughing, racist, like a joking racist. Shaun Waffle, what are you talking about, Smitty? It's still super racist in the chat. Nah, not like to yo. It's not you. I don't even remember what it used to be like, Shaun. It used to be like really racist, like for real. Like we play around racist, back 2 years ago, it was like legit. They was calling me the hard ER. Like it was getting crazy in here. So
no, they weren't. It's worse now. It's just like the world. The United States has gotten worse too.
Well, I mean, divisive presidents, something happens. Anyway, let's keep things rolling. Let's keep things flowing, and
you got to kill a white guy, and then you're the victim.
Crazy. Eggs is high as hell right now, and
y'all killed a white cat, and then
lost all my money. My 401k tanked. I can't retire now, so I got to go figure something else out. So, but we're good though. Let's keep rolling.
You did what? Say it again.
My 401k just tanked, so my retirement plan is kind of shifted now. So I'm just trying to, get everything back in order.
Motherfucker took a knife from the house. You know that noise that you take it out of the butcher knife thing. The thing on your counter, the old school,
like blade.
Yeah, that noise. Motherfucker took it out. The daddy watched him do it. Went to the track meet, killed a motherfucker, and now he the victim.
Well, I ain't right.
Real talk. Shannon Sharp getting sued. Kanye West. I don't know what's cracking, homie. The world's fucked up.
A lot of he say, she say, man. That's all I'm gonna say about that, man. I'm gonna say this, and I'm done. It seems like every time a brother is about to get a big payout, big payday, or go buy a record label, or big contracts on the way, or something about to happen, some sort of accusations or something come out. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, I can't stand females that do that. Like they're the bottom feeders. Can't. I just unbelievable. The crazy part is the text messages though.
Oh man,
I'm glad he dropped them though. I don't know if that helps him or whatever. Because
I feel him though. He's like, man, I ain't about to give y'all even a chance to think I'm.
But I'm glad he went on the offensive.
I like it too.
Now, do I think Shannon Sharp's a weirdo? Fuck yes, 1,000%.
Well, you don't know him, so it's not really fair for you to say that.
No, but I think he's a weirdo fuck. Now, having said that,
you can judge him, but you don't know him, though.
Exactly. I'm not gonna act like I know him. But here's the thing, though.
In your judgment, it could be wrong because you don't know.
Could be, but that's what judging is. I gotta ask you though, like the text message, all the shit that's cracking, like, man, it's just weird text. Weird text. Baby daddy, or what do you call it? Baby goo?
Baby girl. Let me see you twirl.
No. He said, put the baby goo in me.
Is that what it said? I didn't read all of them. I read some of them. I read like 25K for each cheek. There's a lot going on.
I didn't read that one.
Yeah. Like she was talking about her ass.
Baby gravy. That was it. Baby gravy, Lucy. Baby gravy.
25K for each cheek. These women is crazy, homie.
Yeah. It's crazy though that I don't know. That's why I can't fuck with no young ones, homie. Can't do it.
That's all you fuck with.
No. Poll question, Smitty. Let's dive right into it. I got to ask you straight out the gate. Who is more likely to win Game 3 at home, the Pistons or the Clippers?
Baby girl.
Very
Clippers.
Interesting, huh?
Clippers.
Very interesting.
Clippers. Because the Clippers could be up 2-0 right now. They could have very well won that first game.
Could be down 0-2, though.
Exactly. That's how good that series is. That's how tight that series is. You know what I mean? So I guess you can say it either way, but I said the Clippers because I believe in who they have. I believe in the pieces they have. I believe in Kawhi. Healthy Kawhi is a dog, homie. And we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But healthy, like we say we want about he didn't play these games. Healthy Kawhi is a dog. He's cerebral, all that, homie. So if I gotta pick the Clippers, the Detroit Pistons, they're unproven. I like what they've built and what they're building. I like Cade Cunningham. I don't think he's gonna be a superstar in this league. You can tell by his mentality. He's serious. He plays hard. He's strong. He's physical. Not scared to get nasty, get in the paint. And I'm having a brain fart what the head coach's name is, but he's built kind of a culture of toughness, playing to the whistle, but self-belief. It's going to be rocking in Detroit because I don't know. I mean, it's been a little minute since we had a playoff game there, so it's going to be rocking in Detroit for sure. But I believe in the Clippers more than them just because they have the guys. They have James Harden has been playing very well this entire season for everything. People has talked about him, and I probably even criticized him before in the past about his weight and not showing up in shape, all that in the third. Scratch all that. This has been one of James Harden's better seasons. Kawhi looks amazing. And shout out to Tyronn Lue, man. We don't talk about him enough. He's one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's been like that for quite some time. Yeah, man, I don't know. That series is amazing though. But I believe in the Clippers more than I do the Pistons. What say you?
Yeah. Man, Detroit has outplayed the Knicks 7 out of 8 quarters, to be real with you. In the 2 games. The Detroit Pistons, they allowed that 21-0 run as they entered the 4th quarter on Saturday. That should be a 2-0 series. Detroit headed home. The Knicks look tired, bro. Towns looks tired, like no legs, no lift. Jalen Brunson's falling all over the place. Detroit should be up 2-0. I think Detroit has a way better shot because I know the Joker and that Murray guy are lethal in the playoffs on the road. And this is going to be some new territory tied up going home for the Clippers. And Kawhi Leonard, can he stay healthy and stay like he is? Because he was unbelievable. I think he only missed 4 shots last night. He only had missed 1 going into the 4th quarter. I don't know. I think Detroit, man, is going to beat the Knicks, to be honest with you. Like
really?
in the series. I like Detroit. I like Detroit a lot.
You know our boy played for the Knicks, though.
I know, man, but the Knicks had 8 points off the bench.
But that's because they don't play their bench. It's not because the bench played bad. It's because
that's my point, though.
Like, heavy on the starters.
I don't know how you're going to win with
that's
7
always
players.
been Tom Thibodeau's, like, that's his thing. That's what he does.
Yeah, but that's why you don't win. I mean, you got 7 you play 7 guys all year long. It showed. It showed the other day. Last night.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, he's been one of the better coaches in the league, though. So it's kind of like, dang.
I mean, is he going to get over the hump, though? That's maybe some, I don't know. Milwaukee, Indianapolis, your Pacers. Not your Pacers, but your hometown.
It's Snaptown. I still support them. It's from my city.
Yeah. Let me see. Pacers just look younger, more athletic. They got to lose balls, 50-50 balls. The Pacers dominated in game 1. Dame Lillard may return tonight.
I hope he does.
Does that change things? I mean, this Pacer team, for some reason, is always giving this Milwaukee team trouble in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Bucks tried to make some little noise like a couple times. They went on a couple little runs, but it wasn't enough because, honestly, without Dame, it's just Giannis out there. Giannis, had a good game, but it's just nobody else really gave him anything. So I think game 2 is going to be different, but I like the Pacers winning it. I like the Pacers going up 2-0. Indiana, man, I was in the city. It was rocking. The thing about, Indiana fans, it's not like LA where we got so much stuff going on. It ain't much going on. So when it's a Pacers playoff game, everybody's at the Pacer game, sold out crowd. You're seeing yellow everywhere. And we know Indiana damn near invented basketball. So it's going to be rocking in there. It's going to be intense. I hope Dame is back because I'm sure you guys at this point have seen post-game or whatever, towards the end of the game, Dame and Tyrese Halliburton was going at it, you know what I'm saying, back and forth. And that's what you want to see in playoff time, man. So hopefully he comes back and we can see kind of that matchup and how that goes. But Dame coming back definitely helps 100%. Even if he's not his 100% self, him at 70%, just you have to respect him. He's an offensive threat every time he has the ball in his hand. And it takes off pressure from Giannis. It makes Giannis' job so much easier to have someone to kind of depend on. So we'll see if he's going to be back game 2 or game 3. But I like the Pacers winning game 2 regardless and going up 2-0.
Damn. Nico Harrison, just catching everybody up, basically keeps putting his foot in his mouth, Smitty.
You saw that, Jason?
Yeah, Darnell. He is let me ask you something. He did not make the trade. Let's be clear here. He had to go up the totem pole and ask ownership and do things. He didn't just make the trade and nobody knew nothing. Like, come on now, let's stop acting like. So why does he keep talking about it? I'm just confused. That's my biggest takeaway from this. Why doesn't he just shut the fuck up and just say, you know what, I made the trade. It is what it is. We've moved on with Anthony Davis. We're a team that's going to try to get Kyrie back and see if we can make another addition in the offseason, getting KD or some fucking whatever rumors are out there. Having said that, you didn't know what impact Luka had. And I've never seen a team, Smitty, GM, coach, or otherwise, talk about a former player as much as this Dallas Mavericks ownership group has talked about Luka. I've never seen nothing like it, dog. Like they've been talking about Luka like if he's still on the team. Like he got a standing ovation just a couple, 2 months after the trade back in Dallas and lit him up for 45. Like dog, just shut the fuck up at this point, homie. It is what it is, right? I don't know. Am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping at all. It's like he's not media trained. It's like he wants to tell you how he actually feels every single time when no one actually does that. Like it's the whole quarterback yield talk. Like you give him what you want to give him and then you sit back. But at some point you have to talk with some bass in your voice, act like you feel confident in the decision that you made, but he does not. And the reason why he keeps talking about this move is because the backlash is getting to him, the fans booing him is getting to him, and deep down inside, he regrets the move. That's why he keeps talking about it. He keeps trying to find ways to soften the blow and make people feel sorry for him and all this. And I might feel sorry for you, a grown-ass man. You made a decision. You felt great when you made the decision. You thought you made a boss move. Then you saw AD went out. You saw Kyrie went out. You guys missed the playoffs. And now everyone hates you right now. And not hate you, but they don't like you in Dallas. So now you feel you're upset. You're hurt. You're second-guessing yourself. Stick by your guns, homie. Don't let the world change your opinion. If that's what you want to do, then just stand by it. No one just makes a move like that just overnight. So you have to think about it. To your point, JB, you have to go to ownership. Y'all discussed it. Y'all thought about what could happen, and you made the move. Don't come in and say, "Oh, I didn't know they cared about him this much." Or like, what, homie? It's your franchise player who literally just carried you to an NBA Finals the year prior. He's a top 5 player in the world. It's like if y'all would have traded Dirk Nowitzki back in his prime. It doesn't make sense. So you gotta either he's lying or he's super ignorant. He's not paying attention to his own fan base. To me, that's even worse than lying. So I'm listen, Nico, you tripping right now. And think about it. People who know Nico, who I've spoken with, heard he's a good dude. All this and the third. Oh, that's cool, fine and dandy. You made a piss poor move, homie. Stand by it and own it. You're a man.
Yeah. If anybody thinks Nico initiated this trade, you're out of your fucking mind. The ownership group wants out of Dallas. They want to be able to gamble. They need gambling in Dallas and Texas. They want to add it. And I'm gonna be honest, this is a group that probably wants out. They want to be Vegas's first basketball team. And let's be real. You don't trade the best player on the team and it comes from a rookie wet behind the ear GM. Stop. And Jason Kidd's probably turning over right now fuck, what am I doing here, homie? They want a casino. That's what they want. They're forcing the Texas is government or government officials to fucking go, all right, are we gonna lose our franchise fucking basketball team or are we gonna fucking let them walk? I'm just telling you. So we got rid of Luka. It is what it is. It's kind of evident now is what they're doing, homie. They want the money. So it is what it is. Smitty, real quick, a Did You Know segment I want to ask you. ESPN did a Did You Know segment back in the day. I thought it was their best segment they ever had. And I want to ask you a Did You Know segment. Go ahead and show it, Bailey. Did you know this is how artists get in and out of concerts?
Let me see. What? Ain't no way, homie.
This is how they walk. This is how they put them through to the crowds. Watch.
This is insane.
Yeah, they go through the crowds. Michael Rappaport told me that this is a real thing.
I'm kind of claustrophobic, homie. This is insane. I've been shaking. I'm too big to be in there like that. They in there like it's a tornado drill.
They walking that motherfucker right through everything too. All the people.
All the crazy fans don't know that the biggest star that they came here to see is right here.
And that exactly. And now, guess what? They're gonna fuck around and see you leak shit like this. See, this is like you rappers that go on podcasts and the gangsters that act like you're gangsters on podcast. You telling on yourself. Now I'm just gonna flip one of them motherfuckers over, Smitty.
Push that thing over. That's how you see it.
Bye. Oh, Drake, what up, homie? Oh, Haktua, what up, girl?
Oh, K-Dot. See, now you got to bring out 4 of them now. And 3 of them got to be the real.
They do that. They do that too.
Yeah, you got to.
They do some shit. They do some governmental shit, homie.
It's kind of hard, homie. I like that.
I don't like it.
We should find a way to start doing that like with our show somehow. I don't know how.
I want to just walk down that motherfucker like, shit, what's cracking? Like, that's what I want to do.
You don't need it, but no, you don't need all that attention right now. He's probably trying to do a secret grand entrance, like pop up out of nowhere. So
yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
You're not creative. You're real basic and boring. So
yeah, I am. Let's dive into the show, Smitty. We got a lot going on. A lot of trade shit going on in the. And when I say trade, Smitty, I mean college football trades.
Well, let's dive into it. I mean, UCLA transfer quarterback Joey Aguilar expected to transfer to Tennessee. This comes after as Arkansas transfer QB Madden Emayalava is following his brother Nico to UCLA. Man, listen, Tennessee is expected to pay Joey 7 figures less than Nico Emayalava's scheduled $2.4 million NIL compensation.
Emayalava, you're saying it right.
Emayalava. UCLA is not expected to match what he would have made with the Vols. And man, it's a lot going on. So we got Madden back here at with UCLA with his brother Nico Emayalava. You got Joey over there at Tennessee. And now you got the Emayalava brothers here in UCLA back home. And you see Nico Emayalava transferred there April 20th on 4/20 on Easter Sunday. And then Madden Emayalava transferred to UCLA April 21st, 2025. So now you got both Emayalavas here in LA. So a lot going on, homie, with the Emayalavas and the trade and Joey Aguilar. What's your thought on this, the whole entire this Emayalava saga and all the trades going on?
Since I know the Emayalava family, here's an issue I have a question about. What was old boy yesterday's name that was going to join the show?
Oh, it was Urish.
What?
Markazi.
Cool. I don't know, Smitty. This shit is insane to me. I'm going to be real with you. They signed this guy, Joey Aguilar, to $1 million deal in January at UCLA. I got to ask you, Smitty, like, I don't know. I never knew. I don't know. I can't. Maybe let's be fair to both generations here, so we can come to an agreement here.
All right, let's do it. Common cool.
Maybe I bashed them so hard because it doesn't sit. I can't I can't like rationalize leaving, running, hiding from the smoke. Like I just can't. I guess that's just not me, right? Like. If you brought in a guy, then I'm staying and like, fuck you, compete. I don't know. I don't know if I could have just left. So maybe it doesn't resonate with me. That's why I can't. Maybe that's why I'm the so-called hater.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, damn, homie, I didn't know we can just run from smoke and duck from the smoke and dodge the heat and run and hide. I just don't understand this whole running and dodging and diving. And I definitely, Smitty, want to go to the team that just got the kid from the other team. Like, what are we doing, homie? I'm going to be straight real with you. And then I got to ask you, I get we're both from LA. I get we're from the hood, and LA and UCLA is a great spot and all that. I'm tripping on. So, what? Who's gonna play here? Like, you got 2 sons of 2 brothers. Only one's gonna play. So now I'm tripping off of why would you transfer him back?
Money.
Yeah, but Madden, if you start somewhere else in this current landscape, right? I'm trying to play devil's advocate and defend both. If you start somewhere in this current landscape, that means you now have what? A resume on record, and now I can go get a bigger bag next year because these motherfuckers are transferring every year. I can go get a new bag, right? Am I tripping?
I don't know. I don't know what the market was saying for Madden, but honestly, obviously, it probably wasn't talking about much. Maybe he's thinking, hey, if we stay together, the way my brother's popping right now, and Nico, me just being attached to my brother will probably bring on some money. Me having his last name, I'm sure there's gonna be some stuff they do together on some commercials and stuff. The Emayalava brothers or whatever. Like, it's gonna be some stuff they can do from a marketing standpoint that's very beneficial to Madden as well, even if he's not playing. Let me ask you this: do you know how far apart they are? Like, is it a year? Is it 2 years? Are you aware of how close they are in age, or I guess like years they have left? Because maybe Madden's like, hey,
they're a year apart.
Okay, so maybe Madden's like, hey, I'll play the bench for a year, or whatever the case may be, and then I'll come back and
I'm
I'll
gonna
come
sit
next year.
there
I don't know.
for 2 years, at least 2.
Was it 2 more? Yeah, because Nico was a true freshman last year, huh?
No, he redshirted. Remember, he came in and played his senior. He played his freshman year.
So
he played his
really,
freshman year.
So Nico could play 1 year at UCLA, ball out, and go to the league, technically, right?
I don't know. Phil. Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know. I get it. I get it, homie. I guess.
So Matt sit back a year.
I'm lost.
He didn't come start.
I'm lost for because I'm just like, again, I can't rationale this shit. I'd want to see 3 years from a quarterback, so I know he's gonna be a fucking NFL guy. Now we're transferring around.
But Jason, can I ask you this, Jason?
Yes, Darnell.
It's gonna be hard for you to like do it, Jason, but just try to. You're 18 years old right now. You're a top, whatever, 50 quarterback, whatever, in the nation. You're in this era. Do you not see yourself moving around if money is coming to you? Like, do you really think you would go to one school and just sit there the whole time if you got other schools like poaching you?
You're asking me personally?
You really think that, like, you in today's era?
Yeah, if you're asking me personally, yes. That's what I would do because I was a committed guy. I commit to something.
But I think it's easy. I was committed too, but I think it's easy for you and I to say that when it wasn't even an option. You know what I'm saying?
If Ball State gave you a dollar amount and they paid you to go there, you're not leaving. Come on, I I'm not leaving either. Only way I leave is if my coach left and the opportunity came where more money was brought. I was about going to the NFL. Even if today I'm trying to rationale and put it back and rewind it, fast forward it, and combination mesh this whole thing. So put my era into a paid era, which is hard to do. I'm trying to do that right now, which is a question you can't ask because we don't know. We all wanted the money. We couldn't get the money. Now we're seeing kids with the money. But we're in the world of street agents. We're in the world of street agents right now. Street agents are ruining the game because these kids are listening to their 7-on-7 and their street agent guys who really have no clue about the true football aspect of it. How to get better on the football field, how to fundamentally get better, how to get better at this position, blah, 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 blah. They're looking for a bag for them.
Right.
And they want to represent you, and they'll shop your ass around 4 times in 4 years. That's what's happening, literally. And I've seen Scott Frost yesterday talk about that particularly. He's like, these kids are getting the worst information possible from these street agents, and that's what it is. And I know for a fact because I've heard it literally from my own 2 ears in person from people that I'm telling my kids, like, homie, telling my boys' dads, like, dog, are you listening to this motherfucker? I'm like, are you serious? You can tell all they want is that. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't get it, Smitty. And I'm definitely not going to replace a guy that they replaced me with at that old school. Let me say it again. I'm definitely not leaving my school that you brought a player from another school to replace me with, and I'm going to go back to his school that he left. Say that real fast.
But I mean, you got to think about your options, though. Like, Tennessee's a hell of a school, and I'm sure they got a decent amount of money. Like, Joey ain't got no beef with Tennessee. His beef would be with UCLA.
I get it.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you're only as good as your options, homie.
Alan, I saw that. Alan said he saw the director of player personnel at Arkansas step away to go take an NIL company job. And I saw that too. Honestly, that's happening at more places than you know. The NIL company job now is becoming a new DFO job because now colleges, if you notice what they're doing, colleges are adding these general manager title guys, which is replacing the DFO, and they're all old school legends. McCaffrey or Luck. We're seeing these guys get these general manager title jobs, and it's like, what in the hell is it? But what's happening is the NCAA, again, now they're trying to pass a rule where the colleges can pay the player directly. So if you hadn't seen that yesterday, that's what's coming down the pipe. Again, wiping their hands clean again. They aren't paying the NCAA. Just so everybody's clear, the NCAA is not paying. Now they're allowing the school directly to pay the player. So if that happens, we'll get into that in a second. But Smitty, I'm going to be real, dog. This shit is a mockery. It's a joke. I don't think you can ever get better at the position, especially at quarterback, if all you do is transfer or look for a bag of money. When are you going to get good and hone in on your craft? I don't understand this. I don't get the fact that we're constantly on the move. I would rather see you be the Matt Castle and get coached up, get better. And if you get beat out, you get beat out. But damn, you got better. Matt Castle never took a fucking snap at USC. Guess what he did in the NFL? Played a long time, made a lot of money, and won a lot of games as a backup for Tom Brady. And then he went on at other franchises and won games. I just don't understand it, and they're getting fed the wrong information for that simple fact alone. It's all about money. You can tell me all you want. Oh, JB, you're lying. You would have chased the money. We can all say that. You can go and chase the money. But the fact of the matter is you're telling me once again it's about the money right now from 17 to 22, which I don't know if I could have said, all right, I would take the money from the jump from the program that I committed to.
Right. And then stay.
And that's it, homie, unless my coach leaves. If I get beat out, I get beat out. Just because I know my daddy, I know my circle. They weren't allowing me to leave. I would have been a bitch. I would have been called a bitch. Like, that's just what I'm saying. I think that's the difference in what I can't grasp now with these cats.
We had ego and pride, and we had loyalty. We had other stuff we cared about outside. We cared about the money, but it wasn't just about the money. For them,
I'm confused. I'm confused. Didn't we build relationships with, like, homies, teammates, friends, bitches?
My biggest thing.
Everything. So I'm just going to jump up and leave all that shit. These cats just leaving shit. There is no camaraderie in a roster in a locker room anymore. None. There's no locker room camaraderie no more. How are these cats really going to build I'm scared for society, man, because athletes and sports teams, programs, from women's softball to men's soccer to tennis to fucking badminton, there was camaraderie. There was relationships built that lasted lifetimes. Today, to this day, people use each other for who you know, who knows me, getting jobs later in life, using our diplomas and degrees for shit. Nowadays, homie, look how separated we are becoming as society, and you wonder why? Guess what? There's no relationships built amongst anybody. Everybody's chasing a bag of money to be on their own, only to get jacked and have their shit snatched at a bat of an eye when they see you balling. There's no relationship, dog. No one has each other's back. There's no commitment, no loyalty, no integrity. It's all about money. And when money becomes the main thing, Smitty, before it's the main thing, there ain't no main thing.
Ooh.
Because the NFL was the main thing.
Ooh.
And I don't believe the main thing is the main thing anymore. Being real. I'm being real.
Keep going. Every time I thought the bar was done, he added another bar to the bar. That's the bar.
Which is the main thing. I don't get it, Smitty. I'm be real with you. We all grew up in the Bible says it itself. The money is all the root of all evil. It's showing. It's showing that it is, homie. Like, it's proving that it is. I'm all for the money. I'm all for the kids getting paid. I'm all for all that. The way that they've done this, like, let me ask you a question though. The kid that's leaving UCLA that got paid $1 million in January, now he's going to Tennessee.
Joey.
He never played it down at that program. He went through spring ball. I was told by buddies of mine there that he was looking great. And what are we doing? Because, like, I want to get two sides of this.
Right.
We paid a dude $1 million.
Yep.
My job as a coach is to always out-recruit you. And out-recruit the best player. Like, I'm trying to get the best player to replace with another great player. Like, I'm always going to out-recruit my own roster. If you're not doing that, then you're not coaching. You're not doing your job. Like, I'm always going to try to replace Joey Aguilar. But he needs to know that and understand, all right, dog, I got to – that's what made us great, though. Compete. I don't understand now why this kid who got paid $1 million is cool, gets up and gets to leave. So does UCLA get the money back?
No, it probably don't. But I'm actually on this side, on the flip. I'm on Joey's side. I'm on the player side now. Like, yeah, you pay me $1 million, and I agreed to that, thinking like, if you pay me $1 million, let's be real, I'm playing. I'm the starter. You're not paying me $1 million to be a backup. So then you go ahead and bring in Nico and Madden. I'm the third string now, homie. I went from being the starter, getting $1 million to what, the third string now?
Nah, what I heard was he was going to compete with Nico.
Man,
They don't do that no more. They don't do that no more. Here's the thing. I think he's a JUCO kid, right? Diablo Valley JUCO.
That is not. But hold on, real quick, JB. Let's be real. They can say what they want. You think Joey was about to compete with Nico? You really think they was gonna bring them in and like, all right, it's a QB?
No. That's not my point though.
They gonna say it, but that's not what's really gonna happen.
I'm saying is, my deal is, I just want to have an open conversation on both sides of this.
Let's be open about it.
You got $1 million.
Yeah.
I ain't no bitch, homie. I'm not getting ran through for nothing. You ain't fucking me for free. I'm trying to figure this out, homie. What part of the game is this? Now, for the kid side of it, all right, let's go to the kid real quick. You got a bag of money, $1 million. You're a JUCO kid from Cali, by the way, Diablo Valley, went to Appalachian State, a mid-major at best. You get $1 million to come to Westwood, back home to Cali, and now you don't play one down and leave with $1 million. I'm trying to figure out, cool for you, but I ain't the boo-boo to fool. You ain't about to snatch my cheese and not play it down. Something has to give, is my point.
That's on them, though. They didn't allow me to play. They brought in
all that. I'm not even taking either side. I'm not taking either side of this. All I'm saying is
something gotta happen. They don't make sense. I hear what you're saying.
Or here's your $1 million. This is your contract. This is your job. I'm gonna bring in 30 quarterbacks. You start, you get the money. See, I think they need to bring in. They need to say, all right, quarterback cap is $1 million across America. That's what a college kid can get, which I think is way too much. I'm just telling you, when they started paying these kids different amounts of money is when it even made it worse. Pay the quarterback $1 million. Pay the best receiver in the country $250. Pay the best left tackle in the country $500. However you want to do it, but you need to do that, because that way, Smitty, all right, here you go, dog. Here's $1 million. You all get the same amount of money and now compete. And whoever gets the job gets the money. See, I don't think they're making this thing. They're allowing you to get the money and leave without even having to earn it, face it, or face adversity or any of that shit. Like, I don't know, dog. Something's got to give. But I can't also be the program giving you $1 million and you leaving. I'm trying to figure out where the collectives are on that side. Because if the collectives are paying money, I'm coming after Shaun Foster like, what the fuck? Where's my $1 million then, homie? Like, Smitty and I, we get a big show and we're sponsor UCLA and we give $1 million to a QB and the motherfucker gone? Nah, that ain't going to sit well, homie. I don't understand it. Maybe I don't get it.
No, it's bad business for sure. I'm just saying, in this example, I'm not blaming the player, because to me, you give me $1 million, that's the sign like, hey, I'm giving you $1 million because I want you to start here as my quarterback. And then the very next whatever season, whatever, you bring in a guy and give him whatever he got, 1.5, whatever it was. Now you're saying he's a starter. Nico is not going here to be. He doesn't help lead a team to the college football playoff. There's no world where Nico's not the starter. Joey's not stupid. So he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and cut out then. Joey had 2 really good seasons at App State, so it's not like he's some bum. So he's like, all right, well, okay, things have shifted. Our agreement has changed. I'm keeping my bread because I didn't do nothing wrong. I did my part. I'm cutting out. It ain't my fault that I'm not playing. It's your fault. You don't want me to play. You made your choice.
But here's the issue, though. The $1 million wasn't for you to be a spring player, homie.
So you
I'm not paying dudes $1 million to go to spring practice. You can say it's on you or whatever, but the bottom line is these cats are scared to compete, homie. Like,
if I'm Joey, I'm not giving that money back unless it was a part of an actual contractual agreement.
Yeah, you're saying that these cats are punks then.
I ain't calling nobody no punk.
I'm saying if you got the money and you didn't compete for the season and you left after you took $1 million going through spring ball, you're a punk. And I'm not saying I'm not calling out this kid and saying he's a punk. Let me be clear. This is a global issue nationwide when it comes to college football and the landscape. This is happening for everybody. Everyone that's doing this, I'm saying, is a punk.
But I disagree because
I'm not. No, let me finish. I'm not saying that they're. I'm trying to say it in a way. And then the coaches and the programs that are doing it are either trying to punk them or now get punked. So it's a punk move either way, like my coward thumbnail. This is a punk move, homie.
Keep those separate.
This is a punk move for both sides. I don't understand how you get punked and get $1 million snatched from you and you don't play it down. And then I don't get how you take $1 million and not compete. I'm just saying both sides, dog, is bad move.
I hear you. I understand what you're saying. Listen, my thing is this, though, from a player's perspective, you could say he didn't do the work to get the $1 million. To me, the $1 million was like just the signing bonus to get me in the door.
But is that what it is, though? We got to clarify. That's not
kind of like a rookie it's like a rookie contract. When these guys get drafted on Thursday night,
but it's not
what they're gonna do.
But that's
not what they're gonna do. Jamarcus Russell got a big bag and was horrible.
No, but it's not that. But that's not what it is. This isn't a signing bonus.
But that's how it's being treated. It kind of is like that, honestly.
No, but you can't say that if that's the $1 million is for your year. It's a 12-month deal. I'm just looking it up, making sure. I'm like,
where's the pay? Like, there's no writing, there's no contract to say that though.
But that's my point about this. But you all say it's cool for the coaches to not do it because the players should be able to do the same thing. The coaches are under a contract and got to pay money back. So then start putting the players on that.
We agree. This should be a contract.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying start putting the players on contract then. If we're going to give away $1 million just to say, fuck it. Here, homie. Come on. If you show up, you show up. I ain't never heard of no deal like that. Like, I'm just saying. Let's get into what's happening now, Smitty. Take a break before we got our guest coming on. It's crazy, man. I don't get it. I got to show you this real quick, man. So this kid right here, Dallas Cowboys, makes $5 million a year.
Good money.
And he's working a second job doing smoothies, working at a smoothie shop. Here's the moral of the story on what's happening now. It's not because he's broke, but like it says here, he's trying to build an empire. And I got to read up on this, Smitty, and I got to read into this, and I got to read into some other things that have been generational wealth changers for some athletes. And kudos to him following the model that Kobe Bryant pressed James Harden about doing. He said, James, tell me, I'm going to tell you right now, take $500,000 and put it on the Vita Water. Or what is it? The Prime Water. What is it called?
Body Armor?
Body Armor. Take $500,000, put it on Body Armor. And specifically, Kobe had that one purple one that he came out with. That was my favorite one, by the way, the best one. And now, I don't know if you've seen it, but James Harden is now $200 million strong from that investment.
Yep.
Eddie George shared with me a long time ago a lot of these things that a lot of people try to push on these youngsters. It's because, 78% of these cats go broke after their career's over. I mean, it just is what it is. So I'm glad the cat's doing what he's doing. I don't believe he's out there fucking working at the smoothie shop in the mall. Okay, that's not what he's doing. He's just saying that what he's trying to push and, set an example for is to make generational wealth, do this thing. And I'm glad that they did this, man. Turned $350K, NBA earnings, 165. That is what had happened. Junior Brigman.
I was about to say that. Rest in peace. He passed away this past year, man. He became like a billionaire. Same model, like you said. He worked at Wendy's to learn how each position worked and how to run a restaurant, and then started to franchise them, and years later became a billionaire, man. And it was a beautiful thing. Like I said, he passed away, I believe 2024, like not too long, not even a year ago, I don't think. And he's following, his young brother's following the same model, man. Shout out to you, Xavier Woods is smart. I think a lot of people should to study this and understand this. And like you said, man, NFL stands for not for long, and it's the same mindset for any other profession, whether it's professional sports, excuse me, whether it's NBA, NHL, whatever. This money won't last forever, man. And these checks that you're getting each week in the NFL every Tuesday or whatever, that is not reality. Meaning, once you get done playing, even if you go get a TV job or whatever, the checks will never be what you're making there at the NFL, the NBA. So, man, take advantage. And this is what he's doing. He's thinking long-term, longevity, family, legacy. This is how you move it, man. I love seeing this, man. I might reach out to this guy and talk to him. This is dope.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. I'm glad he's doing it. I'm glad I see James Harden, my former high school alma mater alum, do the same thing. And Kobe, again, was putting cats on game.
You know, Kobe would have made, they said Kobe, Body Armor sold or whatever, I think 20 months after Kobe had passed, but his investment made $400 million, like profit. I mean, I'm assuming that went to Vanessa and the kids, hopefully, or whatever. But regardless, it's like, damn, like I remember Kobe's last game. Like he had Body Armor towels all around him, and this is before Body Armor had really took off. People didn't really know about it for real. And Kobe had everything was Body Armor, and then to see it like take off, I was like, damn, man. Like,
50 Cent did the same shit.
Oh, with the vitamin water, yeah,
and the water, the original water. He bought original water, regular water, and then he fucking put that, and like he made. 50's another hustler that no one talking about. Homie. Yeah. Let's take a break. We'll be back in 4 minutes.
All brothers.
We got legendary Ed McCaffrey and Hall of Fame Dan Hampton on the other side. We'll be back in 4 minutes. Pound that like. We'll be right back.
Account posts a girl working with quote unquote route guide who's a South Florida trainer.
This. Coach, love this.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, look at it. Oh, hold on. She down there look good. Why y'all playing around?
She looked like Travis Hunter.
Hold on. Bullshit. Her feet look kind of good, Steve. Like all jokes aside.
So you're looking at her feet. Okay.
I don't know.
All right, Smitty, can I just tell you something?
It's a good workout.
This is the football version of.
Let me line up in front. Can you put her head up? Put her head up, running a route, like facing me.
Hold on, real quick, Jason. This is also a kid. I want to make that clear. This is not a grown woman. Before you do what you're about to do, this is a 14-year-old, 13-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid.
Hey, Smitty, I'm from Compton. Starting none won't be none. So here's the go. Let me see. All right. So is this her route?
Yeah.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Throw that motherfucker down. Fuck all that footwork shit. Give me that. Get the fuck out of here. Why are we showing all this bullshit?
Flag. It's for flag. She's not playing
play. Stop. I'm going to choke slam the fuck out of her.
That's not cute, Jason. She playing flag.
I want to know this, Smitty. Have you ever seen a motherfucker run a route like this?
What's wrong with JV, Steve? Tell me something wrong with him, seriously. Look at him. Look at him. Look at my co-host, Steve. Something's actually wrong with him. Like, we got to go get him checked.
Have you ever seen a route? Hey, Alan, does your whiteout start off running on everybody?
What show do our co-host, man?
God damn, homie.
Hey, you almost look like you were doing the Roger Rabbit there.
Hey, have you ever
like you're doing the RoboCop?
I'm not a breath, Smitty. But hey, have you ever seen a hot? Have you ever seen a hot?
Out of shape ass.
Hey, have you ever seen a hot? Hey, Steve, you ever seen a hot get into the phase and get into the route?
Why you breathing so hard, homie?
I was smoking a cigar.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I mean, Smitty, that's the football version of when boxing hits. Every mediocre boxer look kind of good on mitts. They all look like pound
This is
for pound.
unbelievable.
I don't,
But my question for y'all, why are we mad that she's just doing some cone drills?
I'm not here.
It's just some cone, like, it ain't. They're not saying she's about to get drafted in the NFL. They're not. She's just doing some cone drills. We know flag football is something the NFL is promoting. Agree to disagree. But
Hey, by the way,
she's just doing drills.
DI.
Smitty, about 2 years ago,
yeah,
the NFL Network during the summer showed some international flag football competition, and I just, all right, I'll watch it.
I need water.
And it was the U.S. against Mexico. Man, those Lupes and those Henrietas, they beat the hell out of us. Seriously, the Garcias and the Lopezes. And
flag is a different sport.
Blew us out.
Flag is different than regular football.
Yeah. Steve, did you hear last week's Mexican word of the day?
You're breathing so hard right now,
No,
Jason.
what's up?
You never heard the last week's Mexican word of the day?
Nuh-uh.
Bailey, do you have the video? Can we show it? I'm surprised you didn't see the Mexican word of the day. Cisco and Ruben gave it to me. I reiterated it. Actually, Cisco did not give it to me. He called me a gringo. But we did a video. Our take.
Short. It might be a short. Yeah, give us 1 second. There's a short, Bailey. You can find on Instagram.
Hey, Steve. So you're telling me that over in Jalisco, they beat us?
Years ago.
Wherever it was. No, it's a couple years ago, and it was a blowout.
But it was young.
Was a blowout. Yeah, they were young women. I think they were like above 18. It was like an international tournament. They had production. The NFL Network was kind of had the announcers. I was like, wow, they're beating that. It was almost like 35-0. I'm just telling you, it was actually a blowout. I was like, wow.
Because we're not investing in the sport enough with our women because JB was so anti-flag that we're getting embarrassed now.
Take a listen, Steve. This is the Mexican word of the day last week. This is Mexican's word of the day. My homeboy asked me to give a shout out, so I said, let me do a Mexican word of the day. We say Mexican here in the hood. We don't pronounce anything like with a C or as a Mexican.
Love that.
Smitty, the word is chum.
Chum. Okay.
CHUM.
Chum. Have I heard the word chum?
Chum's like you chum for fit when you fish. You
like
chum.
Fish. Yeah, like this. Yeah, chum. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a Mexican word. All right. Shout out to chum.
My whole family is illegal. I hope ICE don't catch them.
Yo, we back.
What's the new Mexican word of the day?
That was a horrible Mexican word.
Yeah. Some people like body wash, but I thought body wash was just made real quick. I made that up. I don't think it was a big one. I like chum better.
You do?
But, yeah, more racist.
I thought they both were bad.
You think everything's bad, though, for the most part.
No, I don't. I'm actually very positive. I'm the most positive person on this show. But I'm a realist, though, too.
You file your taxes?
Yeah. Why you ask that for?
Fuck, I don't file taxes.
Why would you say it out loud?
Huh?
You know, April 15th was the deadline. So if you ain't filed it yet, seriously, everybody in here, if you ain't filed your taxes yet, April 15th was the deadline, homie. You're going to be having late fees. So hurry up and get that done.
I'm waiting on Trump to cancel it.
Got me a blood orange, homie.
A what?
It's got a blood orange. Fire.
Horrible.
Vitamin C. Good for you. Great for you.
That's a grapefruit, homie.
You smoking cigars, drinking liquor in the morning. I'm eating fruit, drinking water. Tell me who's sharper. Tell me who's better. Tell me who's healthier.
I still look better. Here's the thing. Some people have it and some people don't. Mm-hmm. And you need to do a lot of things for it. And I don't. I drink and smoke. Here's the thing, Smitty, real quick.
In your body.
Hopefully I don't have to file taxes. Blood oranges, the orange you need to go get while they're still out there. If you haven't had one, you need to go grab it because they're the best oranges in the world. Sumo orange.
Sumo.
Yeah, go get one from they're at
sumo?
Rouse. Yeah, Sumo. Sumo oranges are the best. They have like a top on them, homie. You can just pop the top and peel it real easy. The easiest orange to peel. They look like an old wrinkly ball sack.
Oh, I don't want that then.
They're the best orange you've ever will have, and you thank me later, homie.
I don't want a ball. I don't want an old wrinkly ball.
They're only like seasonal though.
Well,
So you got to go to what is that fucking little feminine store everybody goes to? What is it? Sprouts or whatever? Sprouts. Go to Sprouts, homie, and grab them.
I don't go to Sprouts. I'm in the
Go to
hood.
Ralph's. Ralph's has them.
There's no Sprouts by me, homie. I go to Ralph's. I go to Vons, homie.
Go to Ralph's. Ralph's has them.
All right. The fact that you even know Sprouts, that's a shame. I'm actually disappointed in you.
I never been.
But you knew exactly what store to go to.
Because that's where they are.
But you never been.
No, but I found out where they are. So I got somebody brought them. Somebody brought them to me. Huh?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Homie, it doesn't matter what you say. I got an answer. So anyway.
You a liar though. Like I catch you. The whole chat knows when you lie now. They know you now.
I'm not lying though.
You're a hell of a liar.
I'm not a liar at all. Steve Kim's going to join us here in a few. And then we got Ed McCaffrey, Dan Hampton, legends every day, man.
Do we have any boxing topics for Steve or no?
I don't know. You're the boxing guy. I lean on you for boxing. But I wanted to lean on you for hockey real quick. What's your take on Alexander Ovechkin's overtime thrilling goal last night?
This man just continues to add up.
I know you watched the game because you were texting me the whole game. Like you were watching, like tuned in. You didn't even watch the basketball game. You were watching that game. So give me a rundown on the whole.
I got 2 TVs set up, man, at the crib, man. So I had that going on, man, as well. And it was tough trying to, pay attention to both. But Alex Ovechkin, man, when he made that goal, I was like, I'm not shocked at this point because he's done so much throughout his career that you.
Subban was hot. Our boy Subban was hot. Did you watch him? He was in studio.
Yeah, Subban. Yeah, he was. He was pissed, but it is what it is, man. That's just an incredible shot, incredible goal for an incredible player, an incredible man. A guy who continues to add upon his legacy. And I mean, right now he steps away. He's already, I guess you could say top 5. You can put him however you want to put him, but he's arguably the GOAT, arguably. So. He's phenomenal, man. It's amazing to see it, and
nobody will ever be the great one. Great, Wayne.
I mean, I understand. There's people who can make an argument. For.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
It's a different world.
He's done enough to where you at least have an argument about it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
each sport has those players. So,
yeah, what about your Kings?
Oh man, the Kings is doing what Kings do. Go out here, set the tone. Gotta eat, easy win, not easy win, but I'm gonna call it easy because I'm boxing.
The Oilers made it crazy in the fourth quarter and the third period, homie.
I hear what you say, but at the end of the day,
it was 5-2, dog, and I shut it off, and then I'm watching this other, and I look back, and I'm like, wait up, the motherfuckers, homie, almost had to fucking. They won
went
6-9.
on a little run at the end, made it interesting, but at the end of the day, it's about the ending score, homie. And the Kings got that. Obviously, I want to see them finish out and close out the next game a little stronger to where we don't have to have the fans and being nervous going at the end of the game. But hey, it's playoff time. Just win, baby. Just win, and that's what they did. They're up 1-0. So
I don't like it.
We should go downtown and go to the Kings game, homie.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, you're right.
No, for real though. I've never been to a hockey game before.
I don't like how the Kings finished that. You never been to a hockey game?
No, it's on my bucket list. I want to go back. Like, seriously, though. On a serious note.
In person, I'm telling you, you're going to be like, damn.
I know. I want to go, bro.
Maybe we get Steve Kim to go. Speaking of the Korean Cosell himself, the co-host of Whitlock's Fearless, 3 knockdown rule with Mario Lopez, our main man, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Gems, Steve Kim joins the show.
Yeah.
Morning.
Happy Tuesday. You been to a Kings game?
Not in many years, probably decades.
And me either. Since Luke and Wayne were there, last time they snuck it out last night. Steve, hockey might be one of the better playoff sports that you can watch live on TV because that's the only sport I actually watch hockey over that shitty product called NBA basketball. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it was horrific. I don't know what happened to Smitty, Bailey. Make us big here. Steve, where you at with this quarterback NIL trade? Did we witness the first NIL trade in the history of college football? Is that something that's real or what?
People are joking about it, but I think there's a lot of truth to it. And I love it. I think it's the most fascinating story of the offseason. And these two are going to be linked the whole 2025 campaign. They're going to be compared to one another. There's going to be statistical breakdowns. All Joey Aguilar has to do is to play good, solid football, show up to every event, kiss a few babies, shake all the right hands, don't over-leverage your position. If a car dealership wants to give you a certain amount of money, don't ask for more. Make a fair deal. Be a responsible human, a respectful adult. You can be a beloved figure in Knoxville and have a lot of opportunities opened up for yourself. I think this is a fascinating story.
Man, it's going to be interesting for sure. I think that'll be the topic, like you said. Are we going to start trading, though, amongst coaches?
Well, my view is, when's the waiver wire?
That's what I'm
when are
saying.
we going to have that? But, I mean, until you have multi-year agreements that are binding with both sides, this is going to happen a lot. The newest trend that I see are players that transfer into a program in the winter portal, go through spring ball, don't like their place on the depth chart, and then transfer out. So Miami's had that for 3 straight years. We've had Terry Johnson 2 years ago, came from Iowa, transferred right after the spring ball. Last year was Savion Riley from Vanderbilt to Miami to Colorado, and now he left Colorado. And now just yesterday, Emmanuel Carnley, a cornerback, went from Arizona to Miami to TBA. So I'm just like, wow, I don't know how good that is for anybody to be at 3 separate universities and programs in a 7-8 months, actually 5 months, 5 to 6 months, actually.
That doesn't even make sense to me as a player. I wouldn't even want to move around that much. I wouldn't even want to, I don't know. To me, one of the biggest pieces of playing college football was just the relationships, and be able to connect with my teammates and create true brotherhood. I told JB the other day, I still talk to my teammates to this day. I mean, obviously not as much, but we check on each other a couple times throughout the year. Even some of my coaches, you mentioned Dave Philly the other day, usually at least once or twice a year, either he'll randomly hit me up and call me, or I'll hit him up and we'll have a conversation. And my D-line coach, Chad Wilt, who's now at Michigan State, we keep those connections because it's bigger than just football. But I guess today's game, it's strictly about money. Listen, I'm all about money, but it can't only be about that. That has to be a piece of the puzzle. So I don't know, though.
Hey, Steve, I wanted to ask you about that top you just made, because me and Smitty and I had a conversation about that specifically. I'm like, so what's – and you know more about NIL than we do. Let me ask you, the kid Aguilar gets $1 million in January to be the UCLA starting quarterback, assumingly. What happens?
I don't know.
Down. I'm just saying, we're both getting screwed here, in my opinion.
What the structure of the deal is, I really don't. I could ask somebody. I mean, do these players get a certain money up front? Do they then have to fulfill certain obligations, such as going to make appearances, autograph shows, cut a commercial or two or an ad? I really do not know how this is going to work. I do know this. Tennessee got a starting quarterback who may not have the athletic ceiling, but they also saved over $1 million, and they don't have to deal with the father anymore of Nico.
Yeah.
But this is having a ripple effect. I just read the UCLA blue chip quarterback is canceling his visit because he sees the writing on the wall with Madden. And then I think another quarterback, Barstool UCLA, just tweeted out a 4-star quarterback who's a freshman is entering the portal. So every time someone moves, it's never just about one player. This impacts multiple programs and multiple players.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to Smitty. I just don't understand. If Smitty brought up a topic, okay, was this a signing bonus that the kid got? Did he get this particular amount of money? If there's no contract, but then there is a contract, make it make sense. Everybody's like, well, they don't get the money up front. Well, there has to be some sort of legality written on paper that says this kid makes X, Y amount of dollars from time A to time B, and then you got to get the rest of the money once you strap on the cleats and make it through the season. It has to be some sort of literature like that.
Yeah, because look, because then you would have seen, or we would have known about instances where players get the money and then run, right? And so I do know there are certain NIL deals that do come with obligations. I don't think all the money comes in a lump sum. I find that hard to believe because there'd be way too much risk for the collectives.
I agree. And then you don't play for the guy. So you're telling me UCLA gave this guy $1 million to just go through spring ball?
No way.
Like, there's no way, right?
The more you think about it.
There's just no
question,
way.
Though. What if Sunseri really liked Aguilar and said, man, this guy can run my system. May not be an NFL prospect.
I know.
Kind of like him. He knows my system. He knows how to run it. And I'm thinking, now you got, what if Nico's just one of these kids that peaked at age 17 as a high schooler?
Here's the other question, though. Here's the other flip side. Like, these are two California cats. Aguilar played at Diablo Valley JUCO up Northern California. And then he goes to App State, and then he comes back home to California, goes to UCLA for $1 million. Is there really any relationship built? You're telling me that Josh Heupel, who lost his kid to App State originally? No. Like, this is a money grab, and it seems a desperate money grab to me from Josh Heupel's side now. Now Tennessee's starting to look like
but Josh needs a quarterback.
That's my point.
Merklinger's not ready to play. George McIntyre's not ready to play. So they need a bridge quarterback. They need a guy that understands I got 1 year here to make my mark, and then I leave, and these two young guys will battle it out, and they got to recruit behind them. You know, and as for UCLA bringing in Madden, look, this is Nico's contract year. This is his third year out of high school. That family has expectations of, hey, let's have a big 2025, then we're going to the draft. So I could see why the younger quarterbacks that are either at UCLA or we're going to visit UCLA are thinking, okay, this is a fait accompli. You know, yesterday as all this was going on, I texted Don Solinger, great former running back coach at the University of Miami, one of the best football coaches the program has ever had. He won state titles at Southridge High. He's a legendary football figure in South Florida. And I texted him, and I said, Coach, I know you didn't make the money of these guys today, but, man, you were so lucky. You actually got to coach and develop and build relationships. And he basically said, he goes, Steve, I have no regrets. The time that I coached, I could build relationships. We coached great kids. And this is a guy with national title rings, could have gone to Dallas with Jimmy, but, you know, he's a Miami guy. And he just says, I'm glad I coached when I did because I could actually do my job properly. Yeah. I mean, I just think it's ridiculous that every college coach now has to re-recruit 100 guys every day. That is not really the job description.
And the problem is, Steve and Smitty, this is not a high school recruiting job no more. You're recruiting portal to keep up with the Joneses. You're not recruiting the blood life of football, which is the high school and junior college level. Like, that's why these are imploding entities right now, high school and junior college. And we're getting less and less high school football participants year in and year out. I'm just telling you, I don't understand or see how it's sustainable. I don't.
Well, Carl Mecklenburger made a great point with you guys yesterday that if you're coming into the NFL into your mid to late 20s, the chances of you getting that second contract, it lessens. It's not impossible, but it lessens. And that's where the real money is. Unless you are one of these young men getting millions of dollars, like a Jeremiah Smith at age 18, you're really that could be the short money. Just continuing to play college football. Like that guy that you talked about with 7 schools in 3 years. There comes a point. The schools have just got to say, all right, this guy's a red flag. We're not going to be his 5th school. We're not going to be his 6th school. But, you know, there's no honor among thieves.
Yeah. So, Steve, I got to ask you, Smitty, Tyler Shaw, or whatever his name, however you pronounce his last name, the kid
Tyler
at
Shaw.
Louisville. The kid at Louisville, right?
Oregon. He went to Oregon, Texas Tech, and Louisville.
He's 26, Smitty. And from what I've heard, I've talked to 2 guys that are involved in drafting, and they said he's as good as any quarterback in this draft, not even close. He said he's even number 1 worthy. Now, but to Carl's point, Smitty, do you take a 26-year-old and pay him And that's the issue or the concern or the discussion.
Well, quarterback's different.
I was a quarterback's different.
Yeah. I mean,
you might play the 36, 38. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like being a nose guard or a running back.
But here's my point, though. We're forgetting, but I mean, 26 that's gone through what we are seeing in this current college football landscape, though. I'm not really getting better fundamentally. I'm shopping job to get a bag of money. When did I really get good at my craft? I just think that's a huge point on this draft. Like, what are we really seeing? Because we're seeing a deteriorating product, in my opinion, in the NFL, and it's because of what we're allowing in college football. No cap, no salary cap. Put $1 million cap on the quarterback then in college. I think you'd solve a lot of problems. Like, hey, this is your $1 million cap. You guys now come in and compete. The winner gets the dollar. Shit. I just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, but Coach, I'll just tell you this. I'm going to go back to this. If you made players sit out a year after transferring, I believe 2/3 of this would end.
No, I know. You and Smitty are both on the same page on that. I just don't think you should allow it at all unless your coach leaves. I just think you make them compete. Pay the money. Pay them the money. Don't let them transfer, though. Now, in my opinion, the collective's on board. I'm invested as a collective. I know the kid can't leave. I'm willing to pay money, and I know that kid's there. He's either going to compete, shit, or get off the pot. If we're allowing these guys to leave after they take my collective's money, the collective at some point is going to have to say, hey, Deshaun Foster.
Coach, if the NIL was really what it was intended to be, I don't believe in a cap because if an individual like a Caitlin Clark who is that popular in Iowa City and can make appearances, and every company, local, small, corporate level, wants her to be an endorser, let her make as much money as possible. Again, the problem is this has become pay for play. And there has to be, we went into this with no guardrails, but I would put in a rule at number one. I argue with this all the time. There are very few true freshmen coming into a program that anybody knows across the country. What do you mean name, image, likeness? No one knows who the hell they are.
Right.
I got a very insightful resource yesterday that hit me up. The NCAA made a ruling or put it on the table that they're going to talk about allowing the institution now to pay the players directly. And here's why this has come on the table. Because the collectives who are actual big-time, Fortune 500 companies, CEOs, COOs of major corporations who help the NCAA in some capacity have told the NCAA brass, we're out unless you get someone else involved because we're losing our money on no product finality. We're not getting any product to see on the field. We're losing after we've wasted our money already. I'm curious to see what happens with this NCAA ruling. How are they going to continue to wipe their hands clean? And now they're going to say, well, as long as it's not from the NCAA, now the school directly can pay you. Now, how's that going to work with Title IX? How is that going to work with all this other shit? Like, I'm just telling you, it's a joke.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a house settlement where there's going to be revenue sharing and players are going to get paid. But they need to come off this. This is no longer, or it's never really been, college athletics or amateur sports. This is now semi-pro club football affiliated with academic institutions. And the sooner that realization is admitted, you could probably now start to put in steps like a collective bargaining agreement. But I never understood why we took off the year-long eligibility requirements of having to sit out after transfer. There was never really a problem with that. But this all became about player empowerment. And then you're letting him transfer multiple times. Well, look what you created here.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point, Steve. Well, kind of staying in the college football world, but in some other news, Kenny Dillingham told some of his ASU walk-ons that they won't have a spot if walk-ons aren't allowed with the 105 cap. So basically saying that they could enter the portal. But there's a video to this. Let's check this out.
Yeah, obviously we've already informed some of the guys that they're not going to be in the 105, and that was just because you don't have to tell them till August. Well, they can't transfer in August, so you're just going to tell a kid in August he can't play football, and then it uses a year of eligibility. That's wrong. We can use up to 120, and there's really no limit in camp. But we're not going to do that because I don't think that's right for the kids. I think what's right for the kids is to, give them the bad news now. And if they want to go play football, they can go play football. I didn't make those rules. But I was not about to hold those guys here, use them for fall camp, and then get rid of them on August 30th. That's just not right.
That's a hell of a coach right there. I love Kenny Dillingham, but Steve, what's your opinion on this?
Hey, there's another thing. Why are we getting rid of walk-ons? I don't just
crazy.
You know what I would do if I was a coach? And again, I don't know his numbers. I'm assuming they don't have as many players as Nebraska did in the 80s and 90s. I would tell a lot of these guys, look, if we don't actually have 105 scholarship players, I will pick the walk-ons, and you guys get a scholarship for 1 year. I cannot promise you anything after this, but I'll keep you on for this season, and then we're going to have to make some decisions. But this is tough. I mean, you're kicking away the fabric of a lot of things. Nobody ever said that the walk-on issue was hurting college football.
Nobody.
Steve,
They fixed the problem that wasn't broken.
The hypocrisy is what's alarming to me, though. They continue to be the judge, jury, and executioner. I have no idea why. First of all, there's no football commissioner, number one. Number two, I don't understand why this continues to be this I don't know, this double-edged sword, revolving door, so to speak. NCAA, non-carrying assholes of America, just keep allowing everything to they wipe their hands free and clean of everything, and they put it on everybody else. So they open the portal, let me get this straight, during March Madness, so basketball players can walk out during the Sweet 16 on teams that are in the Sweet 16. Make that make sense. Then you got Final 12 playoff teams in college football. You allow the Texas backup 2 years ago to enter the portal as they get ready for the Final Four to play Washington. And now you're allowing this. Like, you're telling the walk-ons they're cooked. I don't understand. When they can't transfer, though, Steve. So you can't even transfer in August, by the way. So what are they going to do? You're just telling them they're cut. Thank you for coming out for the spring and the fall, and now you're done. Like, I don't understand what's going on. But again, we're going to have if we think there's 10,000 in the portal now there'll be 20,000, and they still refuse to go to JUCO. That's going to be the problem. That's the problem, man, because they all think they're too good. And this is creating a crazy world, man. I'm going to be honest.
It really is, man. Some of the best stories we've gotten in college football have come from, like, walk-ons. You know what I'm saying? You think about some of the greats that came out of. I think J.J. Watt, I think was a walk-on. I think Baker was a walk-on, if I'm not mistaken. Like, there's so many. The list goes on and on. I think about my own teammates' experiences at I think about at Ball State. Just guys who like became like culture builders, if that makes sense, amongst the program. And those stories where you see guys who were walk-on for 2 years, had to work a summer job, and then 2 years in, coach surprised them with a scholarship. And those moments where the team comes together, like, is there certain moments that happens that's just bigger than the actual game itself that we're now going to miss out on, and these kids that could potentially earn a scholarship won't even have that opportunity now. It just sucks. It sucks to see this happen for sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, keeping this thing flowing here, man. Cal GM Ron Rivera was asked about the departures at running back following spring football, and he said it was anticipated by the Bears. Check this out.
It was something that was anticipated. If there is one guy that we wish didn't go in, there's at least one that we wish didn't go in. But for the most part, when you look at what we're doing, we have a plan, and we've went out and we've identified a number of guys that we like, a number of guys that we felt that if we can get these guys, we could sit there and say, wow, we're pretty much like we were a month ago. So are we concerned? Yes, because we have to bring those guys in. So we've got a plan of action. We're working that plan right now. We've reached out to several of these student athletes and believe that these are the kind of guys that fit into our system and think that they're going to have success for us. So that's something that we feel very positive about.
God, that's a joke. That's an absolute.
So
joke.
they really expected their whole running back room, which is what happened, to leave, all of them.
No way he did, Steve.
Alloway to
he has to say
Thomas,
that.
I just really
when are we gonna start cutting into brass tacks here? When is Riverboat Ron, number one? Why is he not coaching the NFL, number one? Number two, he doesn't even look right up there on that college podium. Number three, when is he gonna stop using the word college and student athlete? Like, when are we gonna start addressing the elephant in the room and just say, man, this ain't no student athlete? How are you contacting a student athlete to leave another institution, Riverboat? Like, come on, man.
First of all, Ron did go to that school. So,
I know, I get it.
I
I'm
mean,
just
he is a Cal Bear, but
I
don't know.
He
It's
doesn't
just
look right up there. He looks good though.
Contingency plan. Hey guys, I know we took some hits in the running back room, so we're gonna try to see what's going on here. I don't think Javid Best ain't walking through that door. Justin Forsett ain't walking through that door. Russell White really ain't walking through that. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. We're just going 5 wide empty the whole year. We don't care if we have the ball on our own 1 yard line, 5 wide. We don't care if it's 4th and 1, 5 wide. We're not going to even do a kneel down play. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to go 5 wide. We'll throw a bubble screen and just take a knee there. That's what they call it, 5 wide U. That's what Wilcox needs to recruit. Hey, we're 5 wide U. We don't even try to hand the ball.
5 wide.
Let me ask you something. I gotta ask you guys something, man. Like the hypocrisy again is just coming out of Riverboat's mouth, which I like. Riverboat Ron, I love him. Shout out, beat cancer. The whole deal looks great, by the way. I gotta ask you, who are you contacting? Like when is
come on, they're portal guys. They got everyone has an agent, by the way, now too. That's another thing.
I don't think it's portal guys. I want to know when the tampering kicks in.
Well, okay. If you're not
we already know.
You're not trying. I mean,
hey, Steve, you gonna leave Miami or what? Like, come on. This is a joke. Like, it's become a joke. I just don't understand, man. And I will just keep beating a dead horse. NCAA is allowing this, and it's done this. It's a joke. Like, these guys are student athletes. No, they're not. They're not student athletes. If they're student athletes, they can tell you what diploma says on their diploma. They can't. They don't know. Steve, there's a guy that's entering the portal today who's he's going to his 14th school.
Oh, wow.
14 schools. He's gone to a school I never heard of in California. California Prep Academy, some shit. It's a D1.
He's just indecisive, and he wants to just check. He wants to check every school he goes to.
It's
like me at a buffet. I want to try every little thing I can try.
Why are we allowing it? Like, that's the problem I have. Like, I don't understand
it. No one's stopping it. That's why.
Steve, I got to show you this, though. Stanford general manager Andrew Luck. Listen, I'm going to dive into this hard, but I'm going to be honest. What are we doing? He's out there playing quarterback, handing the ball off. So we don't have a quarterback like a
numbers.
We don't have
had one transfer.
We don't have a practice squad guy or nothing.
JB, you would throw the ball around in practice. I've seen it on the show you was on.
No, but here's the problem I have. Like, we got to start. We're not practicing good habits. Like, even Andrew Luck's walking through the motions here as the coach. That's why you got to get a player in there to actually teach the mesh. So now the running back's receiving the ball from fucking Andrew Luck, which he'll never receive in a game, is now working on bad habits. This is not coaching. This is whatever they call it, GMing. This is a mockery, man. Stanford, you're always going to be shitty. You're always going to be shitty, Stanford.
During his days as a coach, the old ball coach, I think who was it? It was either Terry Dean or maybe Shane Matthews. And one day they're
wait, Smitty, wait.
And he flubbed a couple of throws, and Spurrier goes, get out of there, Terry. He gets under center, and he just rips a few throws. And he looks, now was that hard? Let me just call some ball plays, okay? Now get back. Like do some strikes. So I don't know. I mean, look.
Hold on. Can you tell me who is their coach, Steve, right now?
It's a great question.
It's Frank Reich.
It's who? Frank Reich. That's right. Frank Reich.
For the year, right? Yeah, Frank Reich. Okay.
Coach legend.
This is a joke.
Well, I wouldn't say legend. He's a coach. I'm a legend.
This is a joke, man. I'm gonna be honest. No, Pete Carroll threw ball at practice in pregame warmups. He didn't fucking throw hitches in a live practice. Shut up, chat.
It's true. Although in the Super Bowl, when they faced his old team, John Gruden did play some scout team quarterback. I saw the footage.
Thank you. This is normal.
He knew the offense better than Rich Gannon.
Let me give you the brass tacks, Steve. JB just doesn't like Andrew Luck, which is fine. And he doesn't like that he fired, his boy who was the coach, which is fine. And the reasoning behind he got fired, he didn't agree with, which is all fine. So he's going to be anti-Stanford as long as Andrew Luck is there. Even if they go out here and win 12 games.
I don't like quitters.
So
Andrew Luck's a quitter.
As a Colt fan, you shouldn't like Andrew Luck.
I was pissed off. I was pissed. And since he's left, we have not gotten the quarterback position right since he's left.
Thank you. And you leave in August? You leave in August?
Right before the and we literally have not gotten it right. We had Phillip Rivers for one season. He did well, but he was on his last year. We have been trying to find a quarterback ever since. If Andrew Luck would have stayed, I feel very confident in saying the coach will have another ring on their fingers if he would have stayed. But it's all good. Let's move on, though, man, to the biggest news in sports right now. Nearly after a decade after his last NFL game, Colin Kaepernick still wants to play football, and he is training daily, according to his longtime partner, Nessa. Check out this video.
To ask you, is Cap still training? How is he?
All day, every day, baby. All day, every day.
I love that. So
Nothing's changed.
Is he still wanting to play?
Can I get a photo?
Of course he is. It's all up to the teams if they'll let him.
I love that. Any other kids? Two? Number two?
Who knows?
Well, you look good nonetheless.
Yeah, who knows?
All day, every day, Steve. All day, every day, he's training.
Yeah.
What say you?
Go ahead.
And
Steve.
I'm sure in between his marches with BLM, they're just rebuilding the inner city and making a difference in the world. To that, I say hashtag JOM. And people say, what does hashtag JOM mean? Jerk off motion. That's what I think. JOM.
Hey, Steve getting fiery today.
I wasn't expecting that one. Okay.
Hey, Smitty, why are we talking about this? Like, I'm gonna be honest.
Because it's mockable.
It's a
funny.
joke.
It's funny because it's mockable.
Here's a joke. I want to.
Anyone that actually thought he was some sort of civil rights pioneer through sports is incredibly gullible.
Yeah,
really.
Here's
this
the
was
reason.
him pouting over him getting benched, and then he wanted to like exploit the situation that was going on in the world today and to martyr himself. It did work for a while. But over a period of time, I think people understood this was not authentic. He did not make one difference in the world. He really did not. And then, look, here's the other issue. And these are not my words. These are his. The NFL to him was akin to slavery. Okay. So why would you still want to be a part of that oppressive system?
That's my biggest point. And on top of that, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he sue the league?
Yes, and he won.
Yes, he did.
And he won.
You're not getting back in that league, that white man's league, homie.
But tell me what company, Steve or Jason, tell me what company
Darnell,
that an employee can sue and work for that company still.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
And if you want, real quick, and if you want to play football, okay, go play for the USFL. Or why you play for the XFL? Why you play for the CFL?
Because I was about to go ham on it.
Like, if you want to play football, go play football.
You had CFL, you had fucking college, you had
AFL at some point. I think
USFL, you've had all those opportunities. Stop playing the victim, homie. We're cooked. You're done.
You know where it fell apart for him completely? I think it was in 2018. He was supposed to have an NFL workout in Atlanta, and he went to another place, and he made it a big show. And that's when NFL players and an analyst said, "Okay, he's not serious."
Me too.
Not serious. That's when players just started having enough guts to say, "You know what? Nah, he's cosplaying here. He really is. He's not a serious human being." And to me, here's the problem. He wasn't good enough at the end to put up with that hassle.
Right.
He really wasn't.
Right.
Okay. So, and then it came a point like, I don't want my backup to have anything really to say. I don't want him ever to be a part of the story in any way unless they're starting that week.
The noise overshadow his play. So even if a team was even considering bringing him in, to your point, Steve, I don't want to have my backup overshadowing the team and overshadowing his play. In another like example, and again, I'm not comparing these two players at all, but just to add to that, it's kind of the reason why I think like Cam Newton's career ended a little quicker, because a lot of times people will say, well, Cam Newton can't be a backup. Now, obviously different reasons, but I'm saying if your attention, whatever the reason is and your brand is bigger than quote unquote the play at one point in time, then that's a distraction for that team. I think even Cam had said that. So Kaepernick, listen, you guys know I give players benefit of the doubt. I try to I'm the nicest guy when it comes to this stuff. But at some point, it's like, all right, bro, you're not playing. You don't want to play football. And Steve, I'm glad you brought that point up. That workout was like the last straw.
That's when everyone said, "Okay, what's that word? Who that was?
He just moved the location
LaBelle?
last minute for no reason. He just moved the location. Like it made no sense, Steve.
Hey, Steve, real quick, we got Shaun King. Who's got a little health issue. He's getting better. He's going to be off the show for a while, but he wanted to bring this up with you and Smitty. He basically said that he thinks and wanted to ask you if fans should boycott the first game of the college football season to make a statement that they don't like and won't accept this new NIL transfer portal bullshit.
No. Here's the problem. You pay your money, and you have to pay donation fees and club fees for certain season tickets. I plan on being there Labor Day, Sunday night that weekend. We played Notre Dame at the Hard Rock. I've been looking forward to that. I know that's the one game I know I'm going to go to. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, that is a great question. How do the fans make their voice heard? Because all year you look forward to games, and this is not like baseball. There's not 162 games here. You get 12 games, and if you're any good, you probably get 13, 14, 15, and 16.
And what? 7 tops at home. 7
right.
tops.
So that's
if you got an FCS school on your schedule, you play a game.
Here's what's going to happen: more and more boosters and season ticket holders and alumnus are asked for extra money on top of the donations they've already been given, and as the ticket prices increase, parking passes, access to other things that you used to have increase. There's not going to be boycotting. There's just going to be people making business and fiscal decisions with their discretionary income. That's the reality of this whole thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you can boycott. I don't know if they're going to boycott it, but I know there's something needs to happen. I don't know what the answer is, man. I don't, the problem is, Steve, I don't think anyone has a clue what the answer is and where we're headed. That's the problem.
Here's what I think's going to happen.
No leadership.
In the beginning of the year, first 2-3 weeks where hope springs eternal, everyone thinks they're good. People are going to show up. They'll invest into the program. They'll write a bigger check. They'll give a bigger donation. But now you head into mid-October and your team's already got 3-4 losses. I think people will check out and say, this is what I paid for, huh? I'm out. That's what I think. I think September attendance up until about your second or third loss as a team is going to be okay. But if it's clear that your season is not what you think, hope, or want, yeah, people will absolutely abandon ship. Not most, but some at the very least.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, there's rumors real quick that's been surfacing all morning long. I know Weddle and I talked about it. Do you see there's a possibility that the Giants move up to 2 or vice versa? There's discussions that Cleveland and the Giants are in trade talks. Here's the issue. Did the Giants say, you know what? We need to get better overall and need more picks than just a one pick, whether it's the D end or whether it's Travis Hunter or whether it's a QB. They need multiple guys, right? I've even heard the rumor of the Penn State tight end moving up the ranks here along with Ashton Genty. There's a lot of guys. Do you see any major I know it's hard to predict, but it's 2 days away. We're 48 hours away. I'm curious. Do you think there's going to be some crazy splashes being made
if you're the Giants at 3, and if Cam Ward is the presumptive number 1, that means at number 3, if you're the Giants, you're guaranteed either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. You're in a good spot. So unless there's a player that we don't know about that they really like, and keep this in mind, they got a couple of veteran quarterbacks that are going to hold them over this season, right? So that probably takes them out of Shador or Jackson Dart. So I don't know. I think at number 3, if I'm the Giants, and like you say, Coach, I need multiple players because you're a bad football team. Instead of moving up, I'd be thinking, how do I stay in the top 6 or 7 and adding a draft choice? That's really the art of drafting and getting value for your picks.
Yeah.
Smitty, I don't know, man. I think there's something brewing, though. I think there's going to be some kind of crazy splash. I think Ashton Genty's moving up stock-wise. from everything that everyone's doing with this, with the research and what he looks like this offseason, everything he's done, the numbers he's put in, and all these offseason workouts. And then I believe that the quarterback class itself is actually dropping. So I'm curious to see how high will you take a running back where we've already kind of discredited their worth over the last few years.
Keep this in mind, Coach. This is a very deep running back class. I think you can get a very good one in rounds 3 and 4 and 5. This is a really deep, Steve, loaded class at that position.
Let me ask you this, guys, real quick. Does the Warren kid, he can block, he can run, he can catch, he can jump, he can do it all. Is he worthy of a pick ahead of a big-time running back because of the tight end position we know is an anomaly in this NFL? You can create a bunch of mismatches. When you got a great tight end, Smitty, you know the great tight end-led teams are the ones that are pretty much winning besides the Raiders, who I think are going to be better. Where are you at with this Warren kid? How special is he?
Oh, Warren's a top 10 player.
Is he Brock Bowers?
It might be a little bit of Kittle. But again, if I'm going to draft Warren, I better make sure I have a system and a quarterback that can consistently utilize him. I'm not drafting a guy top 10 to be a third tackle. It's great that if you can block, but I need something.
Yeah, he's got to do it all,
He's got to be able to be a guy that has – I mean, I'm not going to say Brock Bowers level impact right off the bat, but if I'm drafting a top 10 in that range, first half of the first round, I need some production right off the bat, which means – who's getting him the ball consistently?
Right.
I'm not too versed tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to do a lot of research on this because I'm going to do a Thursday night show. If you're available to hop on for a few during the live, but let me ask you, New England Patriots. I don't know what they need it for, but I know that they would love to get another Gronk, and I know they can use a big time weapon at that spot. Do you see New England making a move to get a Warren if he's available at 4?
Well, if you have invested into a tight end or a quarterback in Drake May, and you need to get him a security blanket, a lot of talk of the Patriots getting Will Campbell because they want to secure the offensive line up front. There's some debate over whether Will Campbell is a franchise left tackle.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I think May showed enough that you think, okay, we can build around this guy. I mean, in terms of getting the next Gronk, well, everyone wants the next Gronk. I think he's the greatest tight end I've ever seen. That ceiling is very high. Warren, though, is very versatile. He is. He was used in a variety of ways by the new coordinator, like Kotelnicki last year at Penn State. Yeah, that's a good one. The Patriots are tough because, man, they need a lot of talent outside, too, though.
They do. But I mean, I know they got Stephon Diggs, whatever that helps, but we don't know what level he'll be at.
Let's be honest, Smitty, this wideout class is bad. If that tight end's available at 4, he covers up for a wideout and a slot type of guy, and I can move him and H-back him. He helps me a lot with a Drake May blanket.
He definitely does. But let me ask you this, though, too, though. I mean, remember who the head coach is. It's Mike Vrabel. Is there any world that maybe they want Jency at running back? We know the system he had with Tennessee with Derrick Henry and run heavy, lean on defense, not put a lot on the quarterback. We like Drake May, but he's still young. He's still developing. He's still learning. I mean, would you be shocked if they? And I know they got Ramondre Stevenson there, who he's solid for sure, but I don't think he's not the the all pro running back. I mean, getting Jency there to help Drake May out. I don't know that wouldn't shock me personally.
I'm actually surprised Genty's moving up, given the anti-running back bias that we've seen the last 15 years.
Well, the thing is, the Eagles just won, and we saw what Saquon did. It's a
I'm with you. Steve. Keep this in mind, though. He has a lot of carries under his belt too, and I'm going to go back to this. You can find a quality running back. I think that guy at Iowa is underrated. He did not have a lot of help, but he busted off a lot of runs, and him in an offense with more weapons outside. My guy, Damian Martinez at Miami, I think he was underused. I think his best football is still in front of him. Omarion Hampton's getting first-round buzz. He's a big back. I think Denver is in the market for a running back.
I heard they might be trying to move up too. So there's going to be some movement, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you right now, the shock of the whole deal is going to be, I think the Giants will mess around. And if they do, if they think they can make us, they're going to do a Genty move. I just truly believe it. But if they don't do Genty, I believe they're going D-end or picks. I think they can trade that pick and try to move up. I don't know. Them in Cleveland's got something brewing from everything I'm reading about right now this morning. I'm curious to see what that is and where Travis Hunter falls into this. Is he 2 or 3 or where this thing ends up being? I don't know. There's a lot of running backs in this draft, though, like you said. It's going to be interesting. But the wideout core being as bad as it is, that's probably why New England went and got an older Diggs and why they probably and that's why I think Warren makes sense right there at 4 if New England's sitting at 4. My opinion. I don't know. We'll see. Steve, you on Whitlock today?
Yeah, I'll be on Whitlock soon here.
We got Ed McCaffrey on and Dan Hampton, man, on after you. So 2 legends. Can't wait to dive into that. Dan Hampton got inducted like in 01, 02, didn't he? Hall of Fame.
The centerpiece of the 46 right there up front was Steve McMichael.
Man, finally.
We had McMichael, Hampton, Richard Dent. And then their linebackers were Singletary, Wilbur Marshall, and Otis Wilson. That was a monster front seven.
It's crazy how good that front was. Did you?
They
I know
used
you
to be able to kill people back then.
I know you saw the Mecklenburg deal, and I know he was right as the Orange Crush ended, but he still played with some players. But that Orange Crush defense, in your opinion, is it underrated?
It got as much as it could. The problem with that defense in the 80s, when they'd always find ways to win the AFC, then they faced this really big, strong NFC team up front, and their lack of size would hurt them. They had this coordinator named was Joe Collier. He was a real chess player.
Yeah,
he was really exotic. They wouldn't just
created
line
the
up
fire
and beat
zone.
you.
He created the fire zone.
Yeah.
Had Mecklenburg dropping out.
But when you face these, the problem with the Broncos in that era, they played the 86 Giants, one of the best teams I've ever seen. They played the 89 Niners, one of the best teams I've ever seen. The 87 Redskins had a load of talent, and Doug Williams put on probably the best quarter of football I've ever seen from a quarterback when they scored 35 points in 18 plays, I think. If you ever watched that Super Bowl, Denver gets up to a 10-0 lead, and then Doug Williams wrenches his knee. I remember watching it, and I'm thinking, if Jay Schrader has to come in, the Broncos can win this. But Doug Williams hated Jay Schrader, and he said, "You're not coming in my Super Bowl." And I think he could have had his leg amputated. Doug Williams would have hopped out there with one leg. And then when he threw that go route to Ricky Sanders, I'm just telling you, they scored 35 points in 18 plays. It's everything he dialed up, Joe Gibbs, was a home run. And Doug Williams had every shot to Ricky Sanders, Art Monk, Tim Smith had a big game at running back. And I don't ever recall thinking after one of those John Elway Super Bowl losses, the Broncos should have won that game. They shouldn't have. That's why when people say, well, Elway never won a Super Bowl before Terrell Davis, I always ask one thing. Tell me when they were the better team on both sides of the ball. It never was the case.
Yeah, Steve, as you walk out of here real quick, I want to bring up one topic with you and Smitty. I was on All the Smoke with Matt Barnes, and we brought this topic up, but they feel that Cooper Flagg could be the white American star the NBA lacks or needs. I agree. I think we need an American white kid. We haven't had one since probably, better. Is it Bird? Is Bird the last one, to be honest?
To be dominant? Yeah, Cooper Flagg's a good player. I don't.
Do you see him in that role though? I don't know if he is. I don't know. He's declaring. He's declaring.
In an NBA era where relatively non-athletic players like Luka and the Joker can dominate, I don't see why he couldn't. The way the game is played, the way the game is officiated,
Why you say it like that, Steve? Like, you said it like Luka and the Joker aren't legit two of the most talented players the league has ever seen.
Yes, they are, but this is what gets me when people say, well, I don't know if Larry Bird could play today. And I always say, really?
Most people don't know what he's talking
really,
about.
Larry Bird would average 35 today. He'd make it look easy.
Yeah.
And there'd be much more of a license to shoot threes more freely.
Right.
And people forget Larry Bird. It's funny. I saw him and Magic standing together one time in a picture. he was much taller than Magic than I thought. He's actually probably 6'10".
6'11" almost, yeah.
And Larry was a tough guy.
11.
Larry was a really good rebounder.
11
and he would be unbelievable in today's game. It'd actually be easier for him.
Smitty, you watch a lot of it. Do you think this cat could be the white hope that the NBA needs?
He has the skill set to do it. I mean, obviously, you don't know how much the kid's going to work once he get there. All signs is that he is a guy who takes the game seriously, works hard, comes ready. But I mean, he can shoot. He has the handle, can get to the rim. He has the frame to put on weight. He already has a decent size. Like, he has the skill set to do it. Now, TBD to see what he does with it, though.
I know Shaun King is pissed off, but I just don't see it. I don't know.
I think another year at Duke would have been really great for Duke, college basketball, and himself. But that's not the era, unfortunately. I mean, think about it. Michael Jordan stayed 3 years. I think Worthy stayed. I mean, when I was growing up, guys like Ralph Sampson stayed all 4. Pat Ewing stayed all 4. Larry Johnson was a senior. He played 2 years at UNLV. Most of that UNLV team, I think, exhausted their eligibility. Chris Webber, I think, played 2. Juwan Howard played 3. It's different.
KG
really
was straight out of high school. I think it shifted things.
No, it did. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, Kobe, Garnett.
KG was first, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He was Ed O'Bannon's draft class.
Allen Iverson played 2. Stephon Marbury played 2. I think Kenny Anderson played 2. Yeah. So, I don't know. The Flag is athletic enough. I mean, is he going to jump over people? No, he's not, but he's a pretty skilled guy. He'll be good. Look, it's not as hard to be a 20-point scorer as it was 30 years ago. Pace of the game, all that tempo.
Yeah, who was the first one? Reggie Harding, I believe, and then the famous guy coming out of high school was who? What's his name?
Oh, Daryl Dawkins, wasn't it?
Daryl Dawkins.
Dawkins, Bill Willoughby, and the great Moses Malone, one of the all-time great centers.
Yep, and then KG, and then
there's like a 15-year gap though where it didn't happen.
And then KG and Kobe.
KG was 94, 95.
95. He was a pick ahead of Ed O'Bannon, and then you had 96 Kobe, and then obviously later was LeBron. So I don't know. I mean, it's just there's been guys, but I'm curious. Steve, we'll see you Thursday. Appreciate you.
Guys,
all right, brother. Talk to you.
All right, Steve. JB, no break now. I think we waited too long. So let's keep things rolling because we have a legend who's about to join the show, JB, and I'm gonna let you do the honors.
Yes, sir, man. I can't thank him enough for joining us. Denver Bronco legend. If you guys are aware of anything football related, and now obviously Ed McCaffrey is now going to join the show. The father of Christian, of course. Unbelievable talent. Unbelievable watching him grow up. Ed McCaffrey joins the show. Appreciate you. Ed, how you doing, brother?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, fellas.
Hey, I'm calling you coach. Damn it. We're coaches. We're coaches at the end of the day. Hey, did you hire one of my former players as you were leaving Northern Colorado, DJ?
DJ?
Dorian Williams?
I don't.
The DB guy? He must have got in right when Lamb must have got it right. Is Lamb get it? Yeah. He's now at Abilene, but I got him on with Kalani, good friend of mine at BYU as a GA, and then Kalani just raved about him, and then Northern Colorado hired him in 22 at the end, I guess, and does that when you left?
Yeah, I heard good things about him as well.
Great kid.
But yeah, missed it. I've been gone a couple of years now. I've moved on to other things. Not technically coaching. I still, watch film with my kids and coach my kids. Watch all the 49er and Washington Commander and Miami Dolphin and Denver Broncos games. So I still got my coaching fix, and we'll get guys ready for the draft and their pro days, and then run a summer football camp every summer in June. Been doing it since 1998. So we get about 300 kids, a lot of them from Colorado, but a lot from out of the state. And for me, in addition to coaching the kids, it's a chance to bring coaches back. Coaches I coached with in high school and college, friends of mine that I played with on the Broncos or on other NFL teams, and they come back and coach. So like a little mini reunion for the coaches. Also get a lot of the high school coaches involved as well. So have a lot of fun every June. Still get my coaching fix, but haven't been doing it for a few years now.
How'd you like the transition when you got the job there and you got it right into it? And with this era going on now, with everything that's transpired, like, was it like old school cats like you and I? Like, was it just like this is
you know what it was like? Well, welcome to coaching college football. I got hired. COVID broke out. They kicked us off campus. Said you got to go home. I'm like, what is going on? And it lasted for about 93 days. I had it on my calendar. And I had to learn what Zoom was. I'd never been on a streaming show. I didn't know what Zoom was. I didn't know what Google Meet was. I didn't know what Microsoft Teams was. I had never even been on one of those meetings. So we had to learn how to coach that way. And it was pretty difficult because, you can't tell if kids are paying attention. I'm a new coach, I met everyone briefly in our team meeting, and then we were kicked off campus. So that was rough. Then the portal opens up. Oh, that really hurt. It did. And I don't begrudge the kids at Northern Colorado for going to bigger schools. We lost our whole entire starting offensive line, all of our starting defensive line for the most part, sans one pretty talented player. And they went to, Washington State and Oklahoma and Nebraska. And, luckily they were 5th, 6th year guys, had good opportunities to play somewhere else. It hurt me at the time. It hurt, because I knew what kind of team we could have had with the 5th and 6th year players, especially up front on our O&D lines. And then, we lost them all through the portal. And at first it was upsetting, but then, I started thinking, look, I got to look at that position with an FCS school who's a little understaffed, a little underfunded, fighting an uphill battle. I got to look at that as almost like a high school where I'm preparing the players that were in college for other bigger opportunities. No, we never used to think that way. We're like, you sign, 4 year later, you graduate with your friends. But, I got welcomed to the world of the transfer portal in the first year that it happened, and it was the wild, wild west, and we were losing players like crazy. So in addition to COVID, where we lost up to 60% of our team before games. They'd pull them off the bus because they were near someone that had COVID. And then we had the transfer portal where we just lost a ton of players. And then NIL broke out. And it's funny because, like, at Northern Colorado, NIL meant a coach promised me a rental car for the year. We're not talking millions of dollars. We're talking, I got some housing and a rental car. And at the time, it was new territory. So you got to meet with compliance, and, weren't allowed to do that as a coach at the time, right? Like, I can't give you anything. If there's some alumni that want to step up and give you an NIL deal. But back then, it was the first year it happened. So it was very strict regulations. No one knew how they could police it. But at the same time, I didn't want to get in trouble. So I was following the rules. And so COVID, transfer portal, NIL, back to back to back. I felt like I was an expert in all that stuff by the end of it. But it has changed the landscape of college football forever. And it was kind of predictable, right? Then the conferences start realigning. Now schools are allowed to give players NIL deals, not just the collectives. And the rich are getting richer, man. The teams with money are going to continue to get better.
Let me, Smitty, one question. I want to ask you this full circle deal. The NCAA or college football may get rid of the walk-on. And you played with another great wideout, a D2 kid, undrafted, Rod Smith.
Yeah.
And you two go down in Denver Bronco lore. Like, what's going to happen if they eliminate walk-ons? How many more, like, how would it affect it as it transcends upwards? Like, how bad would that be?
Well, it's all about money now. So I do feel bad for all the kids that were negatively affected. For the players that were given an opportunity to do what the transfer portal was originally designed to do, which is if you're backup and you want to play and you're never going to play where you're at, it was designed to give you an opportunity to play somewhere. And some of those players leave for money and get paid a whole lot of money. Some of them won't play in the NFL, so the money in college is a big deal. And players should, be rewarded for their name, image, and likeness. So for the players that it makes sense for, I'm happy for them. But for a lot of players, especially walk-on players, especially high school players, when COVID hit, it gave everyone an extra year, right? So they just made that rule a few years before that, where if you didn't play more than 4 games, it didn't count as a year. So you could play 4 games, still didn't count as a year. You could redshirt. Then you got another COVID year. If some guys got injuries, they had 6, 7, 8 years. There was, we had 26-year-old players on our team, and so I felt bad for the high school players because with the transfer portal, a lot of, if you're a college football coach and you got a guy with 3 years of experience and he wants to play for you, or a kid fresh out of high school, a lot of those coaches were deciding to take the veteran player with some game experience over a high school player. So a lot of players got negatively affected by it. And that was very unfortunate. Walk-ons got affected by it. Like, how do you prove yourself? You get in camp as a walk-on, you prove yourself. Then one of the most fun parts of every training camp is when that walk-on gets that scholarship. It's such a cool moment.
No doubt.
And so we won't be seeing that anymore. I think they cut it to 105. They're very strict about it, but it's a money deal. And I'll tell you where it's all going, because my business partner and I, Don Yee, Tom Brady's agent, he represents coaches and players. We tried to start the Pacific Pro Football League many, many years ago, and we predicted all of this. We predicted the transfer portal and NIL. And it was all because of these multi-billion-dollar class action lawsuits against the NCAA. So we saw where it was going, but we didn't quite get the funding, kind of got squashed. But eventually, there will be professional football for players right out of high school, because the reason the NCAA had such a monopoly for so many years is because of going way back to 1955. I think it was Ray Dennison. I forget his name. There's a player that was paralyzed. There's a lawsuit. They coined the name student athlete, said we don't have to pay disability. And it was all about disability. So where this is going is it's strengthening, I think, the player's argument that we're employees. And employees get benefits, and employees get disability. And that's the multi-billion-dollar thing that they're going to face eventually. How they navigate that, I don't know. It's still in its infancy. I mean, players are getting paid, but they're looking to have contracts now, player contracts. They're looking to have restrictions on how they can get paid. They're looking to distribute it to all the athletes and all the different sports. I think football breaks away from the other sports. This might be 10 years from now, guys.
Right.
But eventually, football is probably going to break away from the other sports because of regionality. You can't have girls volleyball and baseball teams traveling from California to, North Carolina.
Right.
You're not going to school at that point. But football is the only sport with the 3-year rule. And that's why I think football has to be treated differently. Maybe they get rid of the 3-year rule. I could talk for days. I probably answered more than what.
No, I love it. This is great. Great insight.
Like, I've been studying it for the last 15 years, and pretty much we predicted where this was going to go. It's not where it's going to go yet, but all these things that are happening were very predictable.
What if Ed? What if it is there? I know Darnell, Big Smitty, is going to jump in. What if it's here now though, and The Rock decides to take your model and grab high school kids right now out of the high school to the XFL, USFL? They just signed an extension, I believe, gave $7,000 more to each player, and I think they got some security blanket that out there to say we're going to be around a couple more years at least. I don't think he's making money on this thing. It's going to be hard to compete versus the NFL. What if that is their new model? Is that
it's going to happen? I mean, it is. We were just way too early. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. And now I think the NCAA, I mean, they're navigating some pretty dangerous waters. And again, it's going to eventually come down to benefits and disability, and there's going to be a lawsuit regarding whether or not players are employees now. Because before it was a barter system where we traded your education for your scholarship, and now it's a little muddier, right? You're getting paid not only from collectives for name, image, and likeness, but the schools are now paying players to be there. And so, where does that end? And then players are going to start getting upset if you start capping how much a player can make and spreading it out. And so, man, it sure sounds like it's turning into a business, right? And the wealth is getting shared between the universities. The big universities have
TV deals.
Yeah, TV deals. So, and that's what all drives it, are the TV deals. So anyway, I don't know how long it'll take, but eventually everyone's going to be sitting down talking about disability and benefits. And that's where I think it'll really be an opportunity to either eliminate the 3-year rule or to create a professional football league for football players right out of high school.
Wow. Man, we appreciate that insight right there, and it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out in the next 5 to 10 years. Because, like you said, right now it's definitely the wild west, and we shall see. But kind of switching gears here and going into your amazing career, 3-time Super Bowl champion, Known for making some incredible big time plays and catches in big time games. As you look throughout, your career, I guess focusing more so on the 3 Super Bowls there. I guess which one was the most memorable for you and why?
Super Bowl 32, because it was the first Super Bowl championship the Denver Broncos had ever had. And there was families of Denver Broncos fans that went to games together for their whole lifetimes. And not all of them made it to Super Bowl 32. Father and son, mother and daughter, friends that have been going to games forever, and so many losses, right, in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs. And so finally I got to be part of the first Super Bowl championship in Denver Broncos history. And it was my favorite play was the last play of the game. Victory formation. We lined up. John Elway took the knee, tears, smile, just everyone erupted. Man, it was the greatest memory on the football field that I've ever had.
Wow. You share something with my cousin. My cousin's a big time chiropractor out here. I was with the Rams for a while, UCLA with Dick Vermeil years ago. He caught passes from Elway in high school. So out here in
the dislocated fingers that I got from catching passes from John. I never got the Elway cross though, man. I never let it hit my chest. Got to catch with your hands. But
you got to get Bruce Sternum, huh?
Yeah, he had a cannon.
Is there equivalent to John Elway right now? Is Josh Allen the closest?
That's a great question. Yeah, probably, because he's a big, strong quarterback with a rocket arm. He's probably the closest thing. They run him a whole lot more. John could run. John was a phenomenal athlete. He was drafted by the MLB and the NFL, and he could have played a bunch of different sports, but big, strong pocket passer. And they didn't have designed runs for him. Although in Super Bowl 32, he had the little helicopter where he took off and ran.
Yeah.
So he could run when he needed to. But yeah, that's probably the closest, just because big, strong, great arm strength.
Yeah, we had Carl Mecklenburg on yesterday. He spoke highly of you, but he was on yesterday and was speaking about the same stuff. He was like, man, Elway, I think, is a very undervalued guy today when we kind of dismiss what he did and who he was before we saw that freak. Like, that was him. Like him and Marino with the quick release and the cannons, and I miss those days. But let me ask you something with this portal thing. Would he have stayed at Stanford? Because the dollar amount that they would have thrown at your son, there's no way, right? He stays at Stanford, or would you say, nah, son, you're staying your butt right here?
Christian would have made 10 times more money at Stanford than he will ever, including future years, make in the NFL. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because in the offseason, he worked with some private equity venture capital people. And without naming the company, he had an opportunity to get in with a new startup, a fintech company that is now, $1 trillion company. So because of the way the rules were structured, it wasn't just that you couldn't get paid endorsement money for wearing a shoe. It was that you could not start a new business and get funded or be given any equity in a company because that was considered pay. He also tried to start up his own company with some of his Stanford friends that he was in class with and his technology class, and they wouldn't let him fund the company. So he had to drop out. And that company did okay, no big deal. But the opportunity that was missed, and if there's a way to do it, I would do it if I was a general manager of one of the colleges, is to introduce your players to alumni who are starting up new companies and provide equity. That's what the NFL players started doing after a while. You hear all these stories about NFL players that got equity in a company. Rather than just a check, they got some equity. And when those companies took off, they made more money than they made in the NFL. And that's what college players will do. And so to me, keep paying them and getting money from the collectives, and that's real money. That's cash in hand. But I think there's an opportunity to make it even bigger. And so that's why I say, had there been NIL back when Christian played, he would have cleaned up. So he would not have left Stanford. It would have been the best place to be. And I'm hoping that one day with Andrew Luck leading the charge and some other bright people on the collective that I get to speak to regularly, I'm hoping that's the direction they're going. That's the direction I'm trying to push him to go, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you, is that like, I tell Smitty here every day, I argue, I'm like, we keep transferring 4 times in 4 years, and we got guys going to 13 schools today. Some transfer portal kid. Like, don't the relationships and the connections with alumni, like USC, Marshall Business Law, right? They got, I mean, billionaires in that. Wouldn't you rather stick it out and meet those guys for future possibilities or opportunities? I just don't understand. I think these kids are being misinformed by these street agents out here, and they're being led down the wrong path, the quick dollar instead of the long-term dollar. And I just think that you made a great point. I think that's a missed point here. We're missing the big picture here with these kids moving around.
There's no doubt about it. It's a different college experience. I know coaches feel like they have to build teams every year. It's not building a program as much as it is building a team. Every year you're losing 20, 30 guys, and you got to replace them. And you don't want to replace them with all freshmen, right? If you don't want to constantly be playing seniors with freshmen, that's a recipe for failure. So you're trying to replace them through the portal. I'll use my example at Stanford. They used to say it's not a 4-year decision, it's a lifetime decision, which is true because you're around brilliant people. It's a phenomenal place to get an education. But now it's harder to convince players of that when they can, make a couple $1 million playing somewhere else. Then you start talking about, well, the opportunity cost of investing that money now and collecting, interest or, a return on the next 40 years of your life. There's compounding interest. So now it's like, well, yeah, I want to stay at Stanford. I love the school. I'm getting a great education. Maybe love to see more fans in the stands if there's any knock on Stanford. But that's a real decision a family has to make. And when you're a kid from single parent family or from a lower middle income family who's never seen that kind of money in their lives, and you're offering a kid a couple $1 million, that's hard to take down. You can't begrudge them, right? So it's not the athlete's fault. Right. It's the fault of the system. And so I would like to encourage kids to get their education and stick around for 4 years with the teammates that they entered school with. And so that they can get a great education, which is really what most of them are there for, in addition to playing football. Sure. But the way to do it is create incentives to stay. So again, I go back to what I was talking about, having a reward system where every year you stay, you have the equivalent of like an annuity or something that will build for every year that you're there, and you get it when you graduate. I think if they want to go that direction of encouraging kids to stay at the same school, then something that would give them a reward upon graduation, because I do think it's important they graduate. Yeah, a reward upon graduation that builds the longer you're at the school. I think you'd see less 4th and 5th year seniors jumping ship to go play for other schools their last year. But Stanford had a real difficult one. It's hard to get into school. It's probably the hardest school in the country to get into, which means it's hard to get high school players in the school. Then it's hard to get, when you lose, say, 20 guys, you can't get them in through the transfer portal because they don't have the credits to go to the school. And then COVID really threw an extra whammy on all the higher education schools, because now kids had that extra year, but they already graduated and they can't get into grad school. So like, I want to go to grad school, but I can't get in Stanford. So now I'm going to go somewhere else. And a couple of them I know, jump ship, went to Michigan, won a national championship. And it's kind of a similar situation. Hey, they graduated, they got their degree, they played, they had a good experience, and now they went out and won a national championship at another school. So to your point, you have to provide athletes with incentives to stay at the school. And in today's day and age, they have to be financial incentives in order to keep them there.
No doubt.
Wow. It's definitely a different time and a different era for sure. I want to ask you this, and again, thank you so much for hopping on here. I think it was last year, it might have been 2 years ago. Christian had like an interview, and they asked him about during his childhood growing up, and he was talking about some of the workouts and kind of the regimen that you would put. I think him and I think Luke as well kind of through. Kind of talk about just how, I guess, the discipline factor and that you kind of put and instilled into your boys at a young age, and kind of share some of those workouts and training program that you have for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were born with it. I think all the kids grew up loving sports. They just did. And maybe it's because, I played sports. My wife, Lisa, was a college soccer player. She played sports her whole life. And they had a choice to either, sign up for some kind of a sport or sign up for a school activity. They weren't going to be sitting around playing video games or hanging out behind the grocery store after school, right? So they had to do something. We wanted them to stay active. and they always gravitated towards sports. In terms of football, they start at 6 years old in Colorado, but our oldest son, Max, didn't play till he was 9. And Lisa and I agreed we wouldn't sign him up for football till they asked. Being a dad who played football in Colorado for the Broncos, I didn't want to force my kids into playing a sport if they didn't want to play it. So finally, I was still playing at the time. Max's friend asked him to play. He said, hey, I want to give it a shot. He tried out and ended up liking it. And as soon as Christian saw Max playing, he's like, I want to play too. Yeah. And then Dylan and Luke started at 6. They just couldn't wait to get on the field and start playing. And my kids love the team aspect of it. They love being part of a team. They just love the camaraderie, love working hard to be part of something bigger than themselves, just taking the field, the whole thing. And then in terms of their workouts in the beginning, I was still playing. They were doing whatever their coaches wanted them to do. As they got older, I introduced them to sports performance coaches. Lauren Lando's one of them. He used to be the sports performance coach for the Broncos. He's now the sports performance director at Notre Dame. But he was working with them at a young age because he learned from some guys that I learned from, guys like Randy Huntington and guys that were coached Olympic athletes. And so it worked for me. I figured it would work for them. And then they took to it real quickly. And I didn't have that advantage when I was a kid. I didn't train like a pro athlete. I didn't even know how to train. I never went to a football camp. And so one of the things that was important to me, and it's also important for me to introduce young athletes to this at my football camps in June. So we bring in Lando Performance, and they teach the kids all the proper, linear speed mechanics and lateral movement drills. And they get them moving around like football players without them knowing they're moving around like football players. But that type of training translates directly onto the football field with your football movement. So we combine sports performance with football at my camps. My kids grew up doing the camps. I really started them for them and their friends so that they could get introduced to NFL style sports performance and play football, flag football at the time, and have fun learning the game without getting hit. But that was before they even signed up for tackle. So, but yeah, it was a pretty strict regimen. The kids exaggerate quite a bit. So they exaggerate quite a bit, but they did get good instruction. And all the teams I coached, I coached 20 years of football, and maybe 10 or more years. 10, 12 years of youth league football. And so every team I ever coached, we made sure we were doing the same type of drills the Denver Broncos were doing.
Well, Ed, I'm going to tell you right now, you look like you can still play a couple more games right now.
I was about to say, there's no way you got all these kids, and I'm like, no way this guy is just still sitting here looking like he should be suiting up. Yeah. I got to ask you about your son's team, the Niners. Yeah. They've made a bunch of moves in the offseason. I'm critical because I'm an LA Ram guy. So I got to ask you, Devontae Adams has come in the news today saying that the Niners lowballed him, so he ended up going to the Rams. They cut a lot of great players got out of there this year. Lynch and is making moves. Where are they at, in your opinion, as far as going forward? Did they miss the window to get that ring, or are they going to rebuild this whole thing around Brock Purdy and in this offseason?
No, they did not miss the window, but losing to Kansas City cut like a knife. The year before, they lost their quarterback. Brock Purdy went down. They had no quarterback in the NFC Championship game. They had a chance that year. They went to Philly, big matchup, and Brock goes down, and they end up with no quarterback. I've never seen anything like that. It caused the NFL to change the rule. Unfortunately, they changed it back, which I disagree with. I think you should allow 3 quarterbacks to suit up for every game. But then the next year, woulda, shoulda, coulda, man. They woulda, shoulda, and coulda won that Super Bowl, and they emphasis on shoulda, but they didn't. Kansas City was a better team that day, unfortunately. Dre Greenlaw went down in that game. That's one of the players that you mentioned that left. To me, that was the single most significant thing that happened in the game. Dre was getting ready to go out on the field, popped his Achilles, out for the game. What just happened? And people don't realize, I think, outside of the 49ers, what an impactful player he is. He's like their enforcer. You got Fred Warner, who's phenomenal, future Hall of Famer. You got Dre Greenlaw was the guy that packed a punch, and he was having a great game, and he went down. I think that really affected the team. Yeah. There were 20 things that happened in that game that could have been the difference in the game. I just feel like the 49ers didn't play their best game on the biggest stage, but they were a hell of a team.
No doubt.
Last year, they were just decimated with injuries. What are you going to do? You can't predict that stuff. Trent Williams didn't play a lot of the season. They lose their one starting receiver outside the numbers, and Brandon Ayuk, he goes down. Christian missed almost the whole season. And you're like, you can't just lose Hall of Famers and Pro Bowlers and All-Pro players and think you're going to keep winning. Dre Greenlaw didn't play last year, by the way. He was still hurt. Mooney Ward had an awful thing happen to him off the field. So sad. And so he didn't play for a lot of the season. So we're talking 7, 8 All-Pros now. Like you can't lose those guys and expect to have success, in my opinion. But, George Kittle crushed it. They had a couple of young offensive linemen stepped up and crushed it. Some of the younger players got experience. Brandon Ayuk should be back. I can't tell you how important that is because he's the outside the numbers Z receiver. Pearsall got more experience. He should be able to fill in for Debo and hopefully have some success. Juwan Jennings missed some time, but Juwan Jennings is a solid player who had a great Super Bowl for what it's worth and had really come up big time when they needed him. And he's my kind of guy, man. He blocks in the run game. He's my kind of guy. So get those guys back on the field offensively, you're good to go. They lost to Funga, but they love Mustafa filling in for him. They lost Greenlaw. They like Wilson. And they have 11 draft picks. So they're going to add 11 players or combine a couple, trade up, get some impact guys they think will start right away. They gotta get some D linemen because they lost a lot of them. This is just how I think. I would bolster the O and D line. You're getting your playmakers back on offense and, bolster the O and D line. Maybe grab someone to compete in the secondary, grab someone at linebacker. You got 11 picks. If you don't get what you want in the draft, you sign some free agents. So, a lot of the analysts, the so-called experts, and I agree with them, think that the 49ers are probably the favorite to win the division. The Rams aren't going to go away lightly, right? I mean, they're a good team, but the 49ers, they got everyone going into this season. It's looking pretty good. I mean, they got to go out and do it, right? They got to go out and play, but I don't think they missed their window, but I think they got to make sure some things happen.
How much is Purdy going to get?
$52 million.
52 million. That's a solid number. I think it's a fair number as well. I like that.
It's between 50 and 60. And so 52 is, to me, 52 is the hometown discount. It's like, hey, I'm not going to hold you hostage for 60. There's zero chance I'm playing for 45. So realistically, what I think would be a win-win is 52 to 55 a year. And then you structure it where you're the guaranteed money up front is what counts. You can give them $100 million a year and not guarantee hardly any of it. And you could never get paid that money if you back end that contract. So, increase the guaranteed at signing because he's your guy or you wouldn't be signing him. Get the average to something that's respectable. Don't disrespect the man. You want him to be your starting quarterback. So to me, I'd give him 55 if it's really a tough negotiation and they talk to him about we got to re-sign Kittle, we got to re-sign some other guys, we got to bring in a free agent, we want to win, then maybe he gives him a hometown discount. But I feel it's just a gut. 52, 55 is probably the number they're going to settle with.
I love it. I got one last thing, but before we highlight your amazing food company, McCaffrey Brands, I got to ask this. If the Washington Commanders and the San Francisco 49ers see each other in the NFC Championship, Luke versus Christian, who is dad rooting for and why?
I'll tell you what, I will be the happiest dad on the planet. If we have 49ers, Washington Commanders, NFC Championship game, I'm the winner in that one. I win that one. Yeah, no, I'm hoping for that. I was hoping for it last year. I'm hoping for it again this year. So let's go, baby. Let's go. That would be a dream come true. Yeah, it's not even a problem. Like I was about to say, it's a good problem to have. That's not even a problem. That's just a great thing to happen. So let's hope that happens.
No
100%, man. Well, let's close out, man, highlighting and talking about your amazing food company, McCaffrey Brands that you founded. I know it creates healthy and flavorful snacks, primarily protein bites and sauces. But would love to hear from you, though. Talk about what McCaffrey Brands is and where the people can find it.
Well, how you stay physically fit and how you get ready to play at an elite level, like in the NFL, by eating birthday cake, fudge brownie,
birthday cake,
and chocolate chip cookie dough.
Woo, that look good.
That's how you get ready to play. But these things taste great. So I wanted to emphasize the fact that they taste great because when you hear something's gluten-free, non-GMO, sustainably made, you almost stop paying attention. But these things are delicious. And it's so important for athletes to get protein. But this is for everyone, mom, dad, youth athletes, pro athletes. We used to forever try to come up with snacks our kids could eat. Before the game, at halftime, after the game, they go to school. There's a long time between lunch and when school ends, and then you go right to practice. It's hard to go out and get a meal. And so no matter what you're doing, you know, we put this on purpose on a sealable Ziploc, in a sealable Ziploc bag so you can control your portion size. But, you know, pregame, hard to eat a sandwich right before you go out and play. These give you a little burst of energy. You can eat them as a halftime snack. Post-game, you should have some kind of food within 20 minutes after you play for recovery purposes. And you should spread out your protein throughout the day. And obviously, protein's a big push right now. Everybody's pushing protein because our average American diet doesn't have enough protein in it. And so I think they're the greatest tasting, healthy snack on the planet. I hope you guys get to try them. So far, 100% of the people that have tried them have absolutely loved them. So I'm hoping you do too. But they're great tasting and super healthy.
We need those on the show. We'll put them up. I'll put them all over the place and
seriously, they look amazing. I need that fudge brownie. I'm a fudge brownie guy. So go to McCaffreyBrands.com and get yours right now. Everybody watching the show live, we got over 3,200 people watching this live. Y'all need to go get that right now.
Ed, man, I can't thank you enough, brother. The best of success to you and the family, and good luck to you guys. And hopefully we can get you on again. And appreciate everything you do.
I enjoyed the show. Thank you guys for having me on. Let's do it again for sure.
Yes,
appreciate it, Ed. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Man,
that was amazing, JB. That was amazing.
We're from legend to legend, man, because it's a nonstop show here. We got a NFL Hall of Famer legend I grew up watching, man, and I can't wait to ask him about his career. But we got the great Dan Hampton joining the show, so we just bring him without further ado. Dan, I appreciate you, brother. How you doing?
Hey, well, good morning. I know it's a little early out there for you guys, but it's springtime in Chicago, so thankfully the winter's over. And we got the draft in 2 days, so we can't wait.
No doubt. You still look like you can strap it on and get after the passer now.
You know what? I was just listening to your previous guest talk about try to invest in some folks along the line, blah blah blah, and think about pass rush and talking about the 49ers. And the 49ers obviously have one of my favorite players, Bosa, but you can't do it by yourself. And guys, and not to blow my horn or not. Okay, you said I'm in the hall, but the guy that played to my right, Richard Dent, he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But wait a minute, the guy that played to my left is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And wait a minute, the guy that played right behind me, Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
He's so.
And Dan, Wilbur Marshall wasn't no fucking slapdick.
Well, my point being is, it's a really good idea. You can't just think, oh, we got a pass rusher. It ain't enough. You got to get more. And, I played on an amazing team that had a lot of great players.
You did.
No question.
Yes, you did. Arguably, I don't know if it's even an argument. I mean, the greatest defense the NFL has ever seen. And let's dive straight into it. I mean, you've already kind of alluded to some of your amazing teammates that you play with, but just me being the young guy on the show, and obviously I played football, college football, and I do my research, but I didn't have a chance to actually watch those great teams. I guess explain to me, what was it like? What were the practices like? The competition, like, just kind of give me some insight on what that was like being
Big Smitty. It was real football.
It really was. And Coach, okay, the rules have changed a little bit. Okay, the quarterback's more protected. You can't chop block and things like. But still, the essence of the game was much more of today. It's almost like everybody's a specialist. And everybody has their gig, their bag. And we've got a guy here in Chicago, Montez Sweat, that, has the physical, attributes to be incredibly special. But after 3 plays, he raises his hand and he goes over and stands on the sideline. And I mean, Steve McMichael and Richard, you couldn't hold a gun on us and make us leave the game because we were all in. We were invested, and we weren't going to let our guys, to our left or right, down. We were going to play every play. And today, everybody, they're thinking about the longevity. their earning potential, all that. Back then, all we thought about was kicking ass and winning games. And it's been a long time, 20, 30 years, but it has slowly, kind of ebbed into that, that kind of a mindset. And that, to me, is the biggest difference.
No doubt. I agree. I think, do you agree that practice at that time, practice was harder than the game, and that getting through practice weeks with, especially on that team, and having to go against, I know when you went good versus good and had to go against Walter and all those greats they had on that, Willie Galtz and all these guys you guys had. I've hung out with Jimmy Man on several occasions up in Scottsdale, and he just told us so many crazy stories. Was practice harder than the game?
Yeah, it was brutal. And you know what? Today they have 12 padded practices during the season. The entire season. We would have that the first 4 days, and it was nuts. And it was almost like, Mongo and I used to laugh, and the rookies would come in and they would be just bewildered by how much hitting we were doing and how much we were actually involved with playing at such a high level, even in training camp. And it was just the criteria. And yeah, it was Dick. Dick was special. Dick was a great coach. But Buddy Ryan had a certain, he had it was almost like an empirical attitude that you have to prove yourself and earn the right to be a part of this special club. And once you're in this club, man, you're not going to do anything that would jeopardize, your membership. So, every day, I mean, we wrung it out. And looking back, I could have played 20 years, if 25 years, like Tom Brady, without all the hitting, with all the contact. But I wouldn't have changed it because everything would have changed. And so, the league has still got an awful lot of great players, and there's a lot of great things about it. And I got to tell you, this year was a great illustration of the big guys whipping ass, and that is the Philadelphia offense and defensive line, just pounded the hell out of Kansas City. And yeah, as great as Mahomes is and Kelsey and everybody, it didn't matter. The big guys dominated the game, and in an abstract way, it's kind of great for me to see that again.
Yeah, we had Doug Plank on last week, and he was talking about practice alone. He was like to fucking just forearms across the fucking. I mean, he just was like, it's football, man. He goes, I miss watching it now when you could when you could hit wideouts over the middle, and when you could hit quarterbacks and not have to fucking cradle them down to the ground and shit. So like, I love the.
Hey guys. I know he didn't tell this story, but let me tell you the story. So I'm like a second-year player, and it's a rainy, stormy day in Chicago, and instead of practice is off, in training camp. No, we went inside this at Lake Forest College. They had a metal gymnasium.
Yeah.
That had a concrete floor. That they would put water on and it would turn to ice in the winter. Anyway. We went in there, took our spikes off, and we were in there running around practicing on concrete, And Doug, after about 5 plays, and there was no contact, right? Because you're on concrete. After about 5 plays, we hear this wham, and we turn around, and it was Doug Plank. He had hit a receiver. And we got to look, and it was Brian Bashnagel. Brian Bashnagel played with Plank at Ohio State, and they were dear friends. We were in the middle of a practice, and Plank hits him. And Plank goes, I'm sorry. He goes, Brian, I didn't know it was you. It was just reflex. I'm sorry. So everybody, there was almost like some fights, hey, this is bullshit. You guys are, anyway, it all calmed down. About 10 minutes later, we're kind of walking through stuff, blah, blah, blah. And we hear, bam, we look around and Plank hit Bashnagel again. And helmets on, and he knocked the shit out of him. And then that time Plank goes, I knew it was you that time, but I still couldn't help myself. But that's who Doug Plank was. Guys, you have no idea. You have no idea how many times he would hit us, spear us in the back. He'd put his head down and come in at 50 miles an hour. I mean, our biggest worry wasn't the opponent. It was Doug taking us out from behind.
Man, I've heard so many stories. It's crazy, man. The guy is sharp as a fucking tack right now.
Isn't that amazing? You know, and guys, and I know at least, I don't want to say 25, but maybe a dozen at least. He'd be in the huddle and he'd just kind of be like frozen. And we would say, see that white line? Follow it, Doug. Get off the field. And he would follow the white line to the sidelines. About 5 minutes later, he's back in the game, and he's ripping and snorting and knocking the shit out of people again. When I got there, Walter Payton was kind of, the team wasn't good, and there were kind of, okay, no matter where you are, there's certain attractions, if you will. The great Walter Payton was the show on offense, and Gary Finsick and Doug Plank was the Blues Brothers. They were the show on defense. And, it was, a number of years later before we all kind of, assumed that role, as you were saying, about the best defense ever. But the early years, it was Plank and Finsick. They were awesome.
No doubt.
Wow, that's an amazing story, man. I'm getting chills even just hearing it, and I know my co-host here, JB. I feel like every time you hear these old school stories, it kind of just almost like makes you more not upset, but just like disappointed in where the game is today. So I want to ask you this though, do you feel like the game today is just way too soft? Do you look at it as being soft, or do you look at it as just being just different? Is the better word for you? How do you feel?
Okay, and like I said, they changed the rules of certain aspects, but to still line up and rush the passer or play the run blocks and all that, it's still amazing. The amazing amount of physicality is required. And and let me just say this: everybody goes, "Oh, well, the kids today are bigger, stronger, faster, blah blah blah." Well, on our defensive line, it was Richard Dent. And then Steve McMichael and William the Refrigerator Perry. Now we had a very ardent weight coach that didn't want you just doing curls for the girls. Hey, we did Olympic lifting, and I was a huge proponent of it. And for young football players, I always say, find a way to get a power clean bar and go to work, because it changes you. It makes you into a perfect, lineman, because that explosion, that you have to, that's when you hit into people. That's the whole ball game. But all that being said, Mongo and I were probably the strongest on the team in the power clean, and we could do 400 pounds. I don't think there may be 3 guys in the NFL that can do 400 pounds today, because they don't do it. It's a different thing. But
maintenance now. They do maintenance fucking work.
Exactly. And you know what? Fridge and Richard Dent were like right behind us. All of us could, we could put 315 on the bar and pick it up and do at least 3 or 4 reps and put it back down. And I got to tell you, I don't know if there's one Bear player today that could do it once. So that being said, it was a different time and different era, but still today. There is, and I go down on the field and I'm watching the guys warm up and this and that. And there's some big ass guys, but the one thing is it's that nanosecond, right when the ball snapped, that decides everything.
Strike. Yeah, the strike. I don't know if it's I get the game's changed, and Smitty, and I understand all that. And what Dan's saying is like, if you're not going to practice and hit each other in practice all week, and you got 12 padded practices during fucking 20 weeks of the season, then why not maintain and just stay lean, right? Stay lean, quick, fast. Back in the day, you practice every single day. Weights were our best friend.
Right. Yep.
And see, it's just the game has just changed. It's just crazy now. It went from old school static stretching to dynamic warm up now, where everything's fucking high knees and you just go right into practice.
Yeah.
We fucking hang.
I mean, I was a weight room warrior. I didn't play NFL, I played college ball, but I was a guy. I get it. I wasn't a freak athlete, so I had to lift weights to be even halfway good. So I get it. But now today's league is about speed and, like you said, this recovery, and it's just different, I guess. But I'm glad you did say though that to be an O line, a D line, to be in the trenches today, it still takes a immense amount of physicality. Play that position.
Yeah, we had Bill Romanowski on last week, Dan, and he was saying the same thing. He said the game is softened. We got these helmet condoms on and all this shit we're wearing for protection. But in the trenches, you still want to think that the running back, linebacker, O-line, D-line are banging still in that box. So hopefully it continues to stay that way. I got to ask you, Dan, real quick. You're there in Chi-Town. I played arena ball there. I was there for a minute, living in Schaumburg. I got to ask you, where are the Bears headed, and what do you think about this draft? They're picking, I think, at 10. Are you excited what direction they're headed?
Well, let me ask you real quick. Were you on Steve McMichael's football team?
No.
What were they called? The Chicago Jackhammers or something?
No, it was the Rush. The Rush.
The Rush. Oh, yeah.
Chicago Rush, yeah. We lived in Palatine.
Right. Yeah.
We practiced at that, probably where you guys fucking practice on that concrete. We practiced at the hockey arena out there. So it was like rock. An arena league going fast. Exactly. Shit, only 28 yards wide, and we're hitting fucking rock. I was like, shit, that was in 2000.
Well, get this. In 1985, we didn't have an indoor facility, and, we were in the playoffs. So we had to take a bus to Champaign, Illinois, and stay 3 days in a hotel and practice. And a college has got a bubble. We don't. The Bears don't have a bubble. Anyway, we had to take a bus down to but those days are different, are changed now. The Bears are really, obviously streamlined, modern. What are they going to do? I will tell you this. So I got here in 79, and the team wasn't that good. And, Jim Finks was our general manager, and he was making a lot of really good decisions on personnel. Otis Wilson, Keith Van Horn, Jimbo Covert, picking up Steve McMichael, drafted Richard Dent and Mark Bortz in the 7th round, and both of them become, Pro Bowlers and all pros. We were making a lot of since Jim Finks left, the Bear organization hasn't made a lot of smart decisions. And I don't know if you guys have kids, but you tell your kids that you need to do this, and you watch them how they go about it. And they make decisions, and you say, no, that's not the right decision. You should have done this. Right. Well, for 30-something years, I've been watching the Bears make the wrong decision. And I'm saying, you should do this. Since the day in January when the Bear organization hired Ben Johnson from Detroit, they have been making not only the right decision, but better and better and better decisions on a weekly, if not daily basis. And it tells me a couple of things. If you look at the draft, fellas, the draft, that's the lifeblood. And you can't miss on players. You just can't miss. 30, 40 years ago, everything wasn't as sophisticated as it is now. Now their DNA, everything. You can't make mistakes. Well, guess who has been the best drafter in the NFL the last 5 years? Who do you think? What do you think, Coach?
Eagles and Chiefs.
Detroit.
Oh,
Detroit,
yeah, right. Yeah.
And they did this in a grading system of only starters, but Pro Bowl starters. And so they evaluated it in that fast. The Eagles were number 5, I believe. The Kansas City's number 2. Let me think. Baltimore. Baltimore's number 3. Baltimore. So what I'm saying is, and the Bears, you got to be in the top 10 just to be able to be in a position to make a run at a Super Bowl someday. Well, Ben Johnson in some form, faction of in some way, shape, or form, he has been a part of Detroit in their drafting and the getting those offensive linemen and the defensive line and the special receivers, all those different things. So, I'm really, really excited about it. Obviously, the organization signed 3 big-time offensive line free agents, a couple of defensive line. Grady Jarrett, I don't know how much he's got left in the tank. He'll help some. But, at the end of the day, it's going to be kind of a wild card pick. And at number 10, we'd love to get an offensive tackle. Will Campbell will be gone, the big offensive tackle from LSU. Yeah. But those tight ends, Warren and Loveland, they're difference makers. And Ben Johnson obviously knows how important and the tight end is and how to utilize the tight end. And I would not be shocked if the Bears kind of do an outside the box draft and go and get one of those 2 tight ends. We've got a good one in Cole Kmet, but this offense is 70% 2 tight end, and we don't have another one. We need one. So don't be shocked if the Bears jump on a tight end.
I love that insight and that breakdown there. Let me ask you this straight up. Is Caleb Williams the right quarterback for the Bears? Did Chicago finally, did they get it right at quarterback?
Smitty, here's the deal. I have seen 50 different dog shit quarterbacks play in Chicago for the last 40 years. They're awful. And you know what? It only enhances your perception and what you can, what would you accept? What do you assess to be a good one? I had high hopes for Jay Cutler, but, he blew out. Trubisky was a wish. Justin Fields couldn't process quick enough. All these different quarterbacks, they have issues. Let me tell you something. And I really wasn't Caleb's Hollywood and all that, and that's not really my bag. But I'll tell you this. Go back. There's a dozen plays. Go back and watch the dozen plays that he made last year Mahomes couldn't have made them. I'm just saying. Those are special gifts that only a few people on the planet, only a few of us could even think about, making one of those plays. But he made 12 of them with a horrible offensive line that gave up 68 sacks with virtually no running game. He was a one-man, band, and the offensive line, there was really, just spots and glimpses of some greatness. And I think what Ben Johnson said, now you guys know that Ben Johnson, he could have had the Washington job last year. But he said, no, I'm going to stay. Yeah, he wanted to win a Super Bowl. That didn't pan out. But he knew there was no quarterback in Washington that he could kind of hang his future hopes on.
Right.
Well, guess what? They've gotten a pretty good one in the last year's draft.
They do.
But guess what? The reason he came to and we all know he was the number one candidate. Vrabel was probably 1B, but he was number 1A. And I remember the Bears put together this 20-coach search list, and I'm saying, what a bunch of stupid asses. Don't insult people. When you go to your wife, you say, okay, I made a list of these 20 chicks. You're the first one. If you say
they don't pan out.
Girl for me. Well, yeah, I said, go to Ben Johnson and say, we need you. We want you. They didn't do it. Guess what? Ben Johnson came to the Bears. He came and said, I was born to be the Bear coach. And why was that? They asked him, Caleb Williams. He knows Caleb Williams is the missing link to get and now think about this, guys. And Jalen Hurts didn't win the Super Bowl, but he didn't lose it, right? In the past, Mahomes has had to win it, but the Bears know that they've got a player that won't lose it like a Jalen Hurts, but if he has to, if it's you're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, Caleb Williams can win it. He can find a way. He did it a couple of times this year, and Ben Johnson was watching. And I got to tell you, and kind of a strange happenstance. I told my wife, long ago, I won the Brian Piccolo Award, which is for the rookie that, wants to win as much as Brian Piccolo. That's basically the criteria. And I was very proud when I was a rookie that I won it. Well, this year, the Brian Piccolo Award was to be held tomorrow morning at 10:30. And who is the recipient? It's not Caleb Williams. It's Rome Odunze, the receiver.
Yeah.
No, I think Rome's going to be awesome. And Rome is going to be the big brother to Caleb. When Caleb starts doing a bunch of stupid shit and painting his fingernails, Rome's going to say, hey, homie, back off. keep everything focused here. Rome is going to be pay dividends. Those two together, they're going to be great the next decade. But the point being is, I was going to go to the awards tomorrow just to meet Ben Johnson. Because I am so excited about what he is bringing as far as a level of competence and belief and dreams of what is possible for this program. Now, it's been 40 years exactly since we won the Super Bowl. Yeah, we went to one, we didn't really have a chance. But the point being is, the one key ingredient that every team has to have, and when you put your head on the pillow at night, you know if you got it or not. We have never had it. Well, guess what? Now we do. And it is a quarterback that has a level of ability that is going to be special. And one thing, think about this. Jared Goff, okay, he was basically, they run him out of LA. They said, we'll do anything to get Stafford. We'll throw him in on a what was 2 number ones and Goff. I mean, they really disrespected him. Look at the reclamation project that Ben Johnson performed on him. And good for Jared Goff, which is great. But all that being said, Jared Goff is a Ford Fairlane, and Caleb Williams is a Porsche 911. Now, that, what you're starting with. And I'm just saying, the next 3 years is going to be very exciting, seeing how this all works out and develops.
Dan, you got me excited right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm the guy on the show who I'm not like extremely high on Caleb. Like I didn't think Caleb would be like the next Patrick Mahomes. I thought it was a little unfair assessment, but I did think his skill set would make him a good quarterback in the NFL. My counterpart here, my co-host, thinks from the beginning that he was not going to be good in the league. But hearing from what you're saying, sound like me and you are more aligned as far as the direction that Caleb will go. So JB, I don't know if you have any quick thoughts to this or not.
Yeah, Dan, I got to ask you real quick. We had Mike Martz on the other day, and he was mentioning how much of a fan he is of Ben Johnson. And he said that he will not tolerate, undisciplined QB play. Let me ask you, do you think that Ben's going to be in the position to either shit or get out the pot when it comes to the maturation of Caleb? And if Caleb can't perform or come up to the expectations that you mentioned or that were put on him as a fan base, that he's the guy to get rid of him before they have to pay Caleb? Is he going to be that guy? Is he that thought of there? Is he going to be the coach that says, we're going to lead you to the promised land? You gotta listen to me. And this is the year, right? Caleb's performance under Ben's tutelage is going to be critical this year, right?
Okay. And this is a special. See, Caleb, I grew up poor. My dad died of cancer when I was young, and we did. And I wanted to, I had to be great. I wanted to be great, to make a living and all those things. But Caleb's already got all this. He's already got all this. Now, what is going to keep him motivated and wanting to, be, a great player. Okay, all those things. You know, certain players, it's a byproduct. Like Walter was like me. You know, we were just looking for a way to make a living. And oh, by the way, if I make all pro, I get paid more. And you know, I mean, it was a great incentive. All those things. Yeah, but Caleb didn't have that because he's already got everything. Okay. That being said, by the way, there's only 2 quarterbacks in history that had at least 30 rushing touch. Only 2 quarterbacks in college football history had 30 rushing touchdowns and 30 passing touchdowns over 2 years. And who are those? Mahomes and Caleb. The only 2 that had 30 over a 2-year period of rushing and passing. So there is so much of a similarity when I see his skill set with Mahomes. But all that being said, the first thing that Ben Johnson said when he took the job is he said, he said, when I talked to the team, I said a pretty simple thing. In fact, I actually wrote it down. He said the 2 things, and let me make these crystal clear. We are the coaches, and we have a plan, and that is our job. Your job is to execute it. And then he addressed the offensive line. But this is not going to be a quarterback that's running his own show. It's going to be a quarterback that listens and is, given the nuances that will separate him from being a real good player into a great one. And let me just say this. The one thing that I know for a fact, and just watching the game, Caleb's footwork is all over the place. And you say, well, he's a good athlete. It doesn't matter. Well, guess what? It does matter. And it especially matters in Ben Johnson's offense. And I know this because, I've talked to people and there are, the difference between a 3-step drop, a 5-step drop, 7, all of those things, all the different footwork, he doesn't have it now. But rest assured, while we're, doing this,
Oh, yeah. They're working. They're working, yeah.
Ben Johnson has got his ass out there, and they're working on it because he knows that the beginning of anything is your foundation.
And
okay?
he stayed his ass in the gun last year, and Ben's going to get it under center and run some shit, some waggle and misdirection. It's a lot harder as a defense, as you know, to defend under center shit than it is sitting in the gun all damn day as far as play action and different things. So I'm excited to see what Ben does with him as well. I just love good coaching. And if he can get that kid under a structured environment where he understands, all right, there's all these different deals. I got to go under center. I got to be able to get the 3-step, 5-step, no hitch, 7-step, all these things that Ben's going to master. I love to see it. I hope, I'm never going to root against a kid. I just want to make sure that mentally is he the guy? And that's what I'm yet to see. So hopefully it happens. The conversation and the topics and the stuff you brought up are great points, man, because it's going to be interesting to see this thing unfold here under Ben. So I'm excited, man. I can't thank you enough. I'm a good friend of Jarrett Payton, Walter's son, who comes on quite often. So he's a huge fan, obviously, of yours, and he's a great kid too, man. So
I watched him grow up. Yep, he and his sister are fine folks. And thank you for having me. And again, maybe somewhere down the road when the Bears are 10-0 or so, have me on again.
Always, yeah. We'll have you on anytime. Love the hat too, brother. Hey. Appreciate you, man. Dan, appreciate it. A legend, and enjoy the rest of the week, and stay safe out there, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
God bless. Have a good one. Legend right there, man.
Legend, man. Legends.
The OGs tell you sit back and just smile and listen, man. We're just respect. Nowadays, you kids probably would have cut him off and cussed him out, and y'all probably would have yelled at him and stuff, all type of stuff. But the real OGs like us, we sit back and we listen, we learn, and soak in the knowledge. Young folks listen and understand that Quan Zito.
He did bring up some great points, though. Like the thing about it is the legends that played as opposite sides of the ball. That's why I always highly talk about defense.
Yeah.
That's why I always discuss defense when it comes to things, because if you're as a good offensive coordinator, you better understand what a good defense is doing so you can combat it. He understood what good offenses did, and he knows Caleb Williams' feet and his drop and his fundamentals are all over the damn place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very similar to Shedeur Sanders in the pocket. He never comes to a complete drop, never comes to a drop, never. So it's just fact. It's not a debate. It's fact.
I wouldn't compare their drops the exact same. But I hear you.
Yeah, well, I do. Hopefully Dan will come on when they're 0-10 too. So hopefully we'll get him on when
he's a believer in Caleb. You're not, so we'll see. I'm a believer towards the Hall of Famer.
I think he said he's more of a believer in Ben Johnson, if I took that correctly. Well, but I'm macro, you're micro, so it is what it is.
Towards the Hall of Famer, so.
There's new breaking news on this Shannon Sharpe thing. We're gonna save it for tomorrow, Smitty. This thing's heating up though.
Is it?
It's very interesting. Yeah, I mean it's heating up news wise. Who knows what the story is, but I know he's still on ESPN as we speak, and I'm sure he's talked to brass tacks up there. You know how that kind of goes. But the girl apparently is accusing him or suing him, has released an audio conversation of him basically saying, I'm going to fucking choke the shit out of you or something. So I haven't heard it yet, so I'm not even going to comment. We'll wait till tomorrow. We'll dive into it tomorrow on the realest show on planet Earth. Another loaded lineup tomorrow, Smitty. Already, Work Boot Wednesday is here already. The weeks seem to be getting faster and faster, and
we go so fast, homie.
Man,
life goes so fast.
Shout out to my boy Dave Boston in the house watching. Said we're doing our thing, Smitty. He said great interviews. So shout out. Hey, Dave brought up a great point though. He's an Eagle fan. He said that Ed McCaffrey sounded a little bit like a casual when he mentioned the QBs going down for Frisco. He said the Eagles knocked those guys out. They did.
They did.
They did. Remember, who was the quarterback that day? Who was the quarterback that they had to throw in? Remember what I know Christian was. They had to throw.
Christian didn't have to have a brother. Some Johnson.
Was it Dobbs?
No, it wasn't Dobbs.
It was Johnson. It was
Johnson.
Yeah, it was John. He's been on more teams than anybody, I think.
He got hurt super quick.
Josh Johnson.
They had his son in there. Christian was playing quarterback a couple times. Like they literally had no quarterback, literally.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just still think
making a point saying that he wishes that team should be able to have 3 quarterbacks.
No. Yeah, I agree. They should have 3. I think you should have 3.
Hey, and you can still add a real smart cat too. By the way, we need to tap into that. He got all types of bread.
Yeah, money.
We need to get McCaffrey brands really we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
I want that fuzz brownie.
Yeah. I know you do.
I promote that every morning. Like you know, I eat every morning anyway, so that's a regular thing.
I know a lot of cats' number one knock on getting that shit is because they don't taste very good. Like that protein But I'm curious.
His is good though.
I'm curious how it tastes.
His is actually good though. McCaffrey brands is good. Shout out to Ed.
Yeah, shout out to Ed and McCaffrey's, and good luck to them, man. I'm still not a believer in the Niners and Shanahan, but hey, we'll bring it up tomorrow. Work Boot Wednesday tomorrow. I got to piss. We just went straight rapid fire, guest after guest after
guest.
It's
your fault, homie. We said we're gonna go to commercial break after Steve Kim, and then you asked one more question at the wrong time.
I didn't hear you say that.
You always do that. It'd be like 7:53, 74. We like, all right, bet, do a break, 4 minutes, come back, guess at 8. And you always said, all right, one more. Ain't no one more. It's time for the break. I'm gonna start calling you out.
Yeah, it comes down to that last camera, that last thing. It's like you eating on camera. It's like unprofessional shit. It's like the same thing. Like it's very like I'm gonna keep doing that, and that's my unprofessional way of doing the show. So
but like this ain't bothering nobody. You skip the commercial break, messes up everything. I've been holding my piss for 2 hours, homie.
Me
you
too.
Gonna mess my health up.
Me too. Paris said ghetto. Paris said her not being able to do shorts because her computer has 1 gigabyte of RAM is not ghetto, but that
right. You want to call people out, Paris? Now that's ghetto.
She got 1 gigabyte of RAM and she got a 1999 Mac.
She got the thick. Now she got the thick like
Apple, the Apple box.
She got the one with the big buttons. Like her buttons ain't flat. She got to like.
She cutting shorts over there like fucking.
She can't be on the phone and the computer at the same time and shit.
We gotta get her a computer, homie, or something. We ghetto as fuck. We still ghetto show.
That motherfucker
we still ghetto show though. We still ghetto real show though.
Right, right.
Even our girl cutting shorts is doing ghetto shit.
Paris from the hood. She
Like
live right now from 88th and what's that street right there where Harold's Chicken is at? I was out there a couple years ago. You know,
you don't live by Dan. You don't live by Dan.
Nah, she ain't by Dan at all. She by Harold's Chicken right in the hood where the crackheads is at.
She by the McDonald's on the overpass, homie.
Yeah, the big McDonald's, the big. Yep.
Yeah, that's I had the best chicken McNuggets I ever had in my life there.
You for real?
Hell yeah, I lived there for a minute, homie. I was there for a year. Yeah.
You get a 10-piece or a 20-piece?
Nah, at the time, I don't think they had those big ones. They had like 6-piece, homie. Remember?
Oh, you had the 6-piece special
or the 4-piece. It might have been the 4-piece back then.
No, that's the Happy Meal.
This was 2000, homie.
You was getting a Happy Meal, homie?
Nah, but I think it was only like a 4. I was either the 6 or the
probably the 6.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
I ain't gonna lie, McDonald's nuggets used to be fire back in the day.
Well, there, because I think Chicago has some of the best food in the country. I thought that shit was the best fucking chicken nugget I ever got in my life, and it was on an overpass, fat, full
crispy and hot. You probably took that first bite. You know when it's hot, you got to.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. I mean, that's when it was real chicken. Now it's plastic and all kind of other shit.
Large high C light ice.
Yeah.
That sounds good right now. While you playing
orange high C?
Yeah.
Always.
I know you will. I know. See, I know.
I ain't had orange high C and fuck, homie.
It sounds kind of crazy like right now. Honestly,
the only thing better than orange high C, homie, is strawberry soda for Louis in Compton.
You ain't told me the Louis burger yet. I've been waiting on you, homie.
God damn, homie.
I know you ain't been in Compton in years, so I know you probably got to call in.
I was just there, but yeah, we'll go.
It's been years since you've been there, so
yeah. Shout out, man. I got shout out to my bladder. I got to piss. We'll be back tomorrow.
I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna make you hold it longer.
And we'll see you tomorrow, man. And maybe Shannon Sharp on the thumb. We don't know. We're gonna see what's happening after we do some research. But we'll see you guys tomorrow. Pound that like, subscribe, become a member. We'll see you tomorrow. Work Boot Wednesday. Peace.